Represento las calles de mi tierra. Mi bandera, ay, mi bandera. Puerto Rico y todos los latinos. Sonamos donde quiera.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to the Sports Jedi Network. This is the Latinos with Wrestling Voices podcast, where the reactions are real, the takes are unfiltered, the energy is always true, fan energy. And I am BX Sports Jedi Kev. Today's stream, we are locked in and ready to break down everything shaking the world of wrestling. Before we get started in this stream, we're proudly sponsored by Dude Wipe. Stay fresh, stay clean, and stay match ready. Whether you're in the arena, on your couch, or grinding through a long watch-along, Dude Wipes has you covered. Dude Wipes on the Sports Jedi Network. We're wiping out the competition clean, and you always powered our channel. And we want to say hello to our newest channel affiliate, Blackout Coffee. Wake up, stand up, never back down. Blackout Coffee is a 100% American company that's unapologetic, pro-Second Amendment, anti-woke. They just don't roast incredible coffee. They stand for the value of this country that we build on, God, family, and freedom. So help support these companies that actually brings a get kick to each and every one of us, Blackout Coffee. So now, as I have the honor here to take it to the sharpest mind in the game, let's toss it over to my guy, PGA Chris. Take us in.
Yeah, no, I'm excited, dude. We had a kind of an interesting week of pro wrestling here. A lot of some debuts, some positivity, some negativity, a lot of things going on in the wrestling world this week. We could start from anywhere. But there's a lot. And we're going to break it down for you guys. We're not going to fake our opinions, fake our reactions just to get sent out places to do stuff. So we're real, we're authentic, and we appreciate you all for being here with us today for the next couple of hours to really break down this week in this wild profession we call pro wrestling.
Indeed. Chris, let me ask you this. I normally like to go by the week of order, Monday through Friday.
I don't want to do that this week.
That's why we work with a lot of ESP. Let's go. I'm going to give it to you. Where would you like to start?
I want to start with the debut of TNA. Let's start it right there. Tonight's Genesis. I'll start with this. Obviously, the debut show on AMC this Thursday wasn't lived up to everybody's expectations. It wasn't lived up to our expectations either. All right, we're not going to sit here and say that it was a great show. At least I'm not, because it wasn't. I obviously things happen. Not just in TNA, but, where you have to rewrite shows. And I don't think they were necessarily prepared, maybe as they should have been for a big night like this. Again, the production issues, the microphone issues, whether that was a problem for you, because I actually went back and watched it, and I can see where those problems were there. I mean, I'm not blaming TNA. I'm not blaming AMC. That's just something that you want to make sure is right for a big night like this. I just don't think they were prepared enough. That doesn't mean that, they don't know what they're doing or this company's shit or anything like that. I just don't think they were prepared. Again, and I'm not trying to sound like I'm defending TNA. And I wanted to start off with it because there's just a lot going on with it ever since Thursday. I think tonight will be a reflection of TNA wrestling in the terms of they're going to have a great show. They're going to have a great match. And, I think tonight could be a sort of, whoa, this is what we should have seen this Thursday. You guys got to remember, a lot of you guys just want to hop on the bandwagon now and might be confused on what's going on. So let me tell you guys this. They've been doing, how many shows did they go live, Kev, for Impact last year? Like, I can count probably on one hand, maybe, how many Impacts they did live. Maybe 2, not counting the PLEs and pay-per-views. My point is, they don't do live production or this necessarily every week. I mean, I'm not going to completely excuse them out. I'm not going to completely say, whatever, LOL TNA. I'm just not. I think this first show wasn't a reflection of what's to happen in the next couple of months, this whole year with TNA. And it starts tonight with Genesis. The matches were fine, but the one match really sucked. But the main event match was fine. The Righteous with the Hardys at the end, that gave a real moment where He got locked in his ear with that. That kind of was the moment of the show to me where, they gave us a moment, I should say, not the moment. They gave us a good moment in that, obviously, besides the main event. Couple of things, obviously, I didn't like about it was, besides the production, you have 1 hour. You start off hot with the Hardys, or with AJ Styles and the Hardys. Now, I'm not going to criticize AJ Styles. People are saying AJ Styles just went out there to do what The Rock did for the Netflix debut. What the fuck did you guys expect him to do? Did you guys go out there and expect him to call a shot right away and want to fight the winner at Genesis? No, that's not how storytelling plays out. They're not going to rewrite their script to have AJ Styles in a match right away. And AJ Styles isn't going to do that. WWE's not going to let him do that. So what did you guys really expect he was going to do? That is exactly what I expect AJ Styles was going to do on Thursday. Welcome everybody to TNA. He's the face that built the place. What really did you guys expect he was going to do? I sure as hell didn't expect he was going to get physical. That was one of the most absurd complaints or criticisms I saw with the show was AJ Styles didn't get physical. Oh my God. And then you start off hot with that. I liked it, right? And you start off that, right? You had the Hardys come out, big pop. All right, we're getting this started. And then that's where it took a turn to me, because you had the elegance thing, you had that knockouts tag team match, and the show just went downhill from there. Now, talking about the main event, because I know I'm talking a lot here, but I really want to just tell you guys what I think, because there is a lot of is the hate, not the hate, but is the criticisms and the complaints there. I understand that, but we also, again, I think a lot of people making these judgments and all that stuff got to be, I think, dude, this is the first time they're watching TNA right? This is probably the first impressions. So let's see what they do tonight for Genesis. I think tonight's going to be a good show. The only thing that I could say before I give it up to Kev is I did not like that they did that whole thing at the end of the show on social media with Nick Nemeth all coming out. Oh, that should have been on the show. What happened in that middle hour that made all of a sudden this production shift? Like, was running out of time. That main event looked kind of rushed, and they didn't get to do what they usually. It felt like NXT at the end. It felt like NXT at the end. So that should have been on your show. You should have made time for that. Cut something. Make something short. If you had to improv it on the spot, why didn't you cut something? There's no way you weren't going to cut something out and not have that part of your main event not in the show. That was ridiculous.
Awesome. First and foremost, Chris Denver, thank you for the super chats. Appreciate you on there. Thank you so much. TNA, let's read them. TNA is awesome company. Love the knockouts. And of course, the Righteous versus the Hardy is going to be so fun tonight. Absolutely, it's going to be fun.
Dude, that match is going to be one of the most. Chris, first off, thank you very much. You've been a great guy. I've known you for a couple years now. Again, Chris Denver is one of the few people that wanted to talk TNA wrestling with me when nobody else did. So shout out to you, Chris Denver. Thank you for always supporting us here. Look, that match tonight, bro, is going to be, like I said, what the Righteous did with the Hardys on Impact on Thursday, with them locking the ear. I mean, we've seen it before with Randy on SmackDown Live, but that is a moment that really makes the Righteous feel legit. Because I don't know about Kev, but when I knew who they were. Heather kind of educated me a little bit more on who they were, Heather from our channel, but I didn't get their presence at first. And, with them doing something like, I'm sorry, Jeff, it's kind of like, they're the heroes, but they really want to take over TNA. Like, I don't care who it's, Leon, it's Leon, Leon's kind of the guy that I don't want to touch you guys. I don't want to have to go through you guys to get to the top. The Righteous are like, well, give it to us. We'll go through the greatest of all time to get to the top. So Chris, yes, that is actually, besides the main event, that's actually the second match on the card I'm most looking forward to. So thank you for your support, brother. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. And I'm going to go right back with you with the production of the AMC. Look, I believe if correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was April when they started going live. That was that first Thursday that they went live. But after WrestleMania, I believe that's when in May, actually, where they said they were going to go live on Thursdays. Not all the time. I think that was their very first showing for May. That first Thursday in May, they started going with TNA, the Impact Zone live on TNA Plus. I believe it was on different streaming platforms as well as Access TV. So I believe it was like 7 to 8 total live. They, like you said, maybe they didn't have production microphones. Some people said it felt like it was on a iPhone camera, all that negative stuff. The TNA Plus had an issue, crash. Look, even Netflix for the Mike Tyson, Logan Paul situation had a bit of a crash themselves. So things happen outside. What we cannot get too crazy was, or we could really criticize them, was the in-ring situation where, like you said, 1 hour in the books, one match. But in that 1 hour, it's fair to say we were supposed to get the X Division title defended.
And can I bring what?
Yeah, sure, go for it. No, tap in. Yeah,
we should have had this conversation on air, but me and Kev I was talking to Kev off air because that's one of the criticisms I heard with the flow of the matches, right? The production, all that. I'm not going to necessarily blame that on TNA. I'm going to talk about the creative for a second. If Myron Reed and Leon Slater, which was, correct me if I'm wrong, bro, wasn't that like the first match announced for the AMC debut?
I believe so.
So that's the first match that gets announced. You know, that if you're a big X Division guy like me, that is a match you want to see, right? That the two guys who literally wrestle like the same, like it would, you know, good match for a show that's not all flippy. Like that's a good balance. They have those guys to do that, and they needed that on the show to get people exciting. And I say, you know, travel issues, or if that doesn't happen, and if Myron Reed doesn't sign with AEW and the Rascals off all that stuff, contracts, I think if they have the match, I think this show is completely different. I think we're talking about this show completely different. And I think the only real criticism would be the production. Now, that is a huge criticism. Don't get me wrong, because I don't care how good you are. I don't care how entertaining you are. The production of your show, your anything, is going to be one of the first thing that people appeal to. So, you know, that's something they got to get fixed. But besides that, would have been the only thing to me I could have see people criticizing was the production. If that Myron Reed and Leon Slater match does happen, because A, that would have been a great match. B, that would have followed up from AJ, the Hardys, to Leon, and then you get your bullshit Perez Hilton out of the way. People can get a breather and then get ready for your main event. That would have flowed so much better. But
I think that's what they had
out of your control, and you have to rewrite. I get that, but it's unfortunate, and I just don't think they were prepared enough.
Yeah,
so
I think that's what. Great, go for it. That's why they intended. That was their intentions. If you were to put some true serum, I think that was their intentions, their goal. Because you start off with the nostalgic of, if you're an old TNA guy, if you have been disconnected with TNA, you see him on, you see AJ Styles. Oh wow, I remember AJ with, you know, in the 6-sided ring and all, Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, all that good stuff. And then and then he brings that speech. The only difference I would have had on that with AJ, no physical confrontation. But after he says, welcome to the house that AJ built, I would have loved Kazarian to come out with the TNA title. Because if you have some TNA old heads, oh, damn, Kazarian is still around and he's the champion. Now he's going to stick around for the main event later on. If you get that Ash by Elegance, and the Elegance brand's mystery unveiling in that match, that wasn't so great. It kind of, in the Perez Hilton fiasco, maybe they could have brought in Kazarian just to get in the ring with face to face on live television in front of the audience, not in the backstage, where they look and he goes, "The house you built, you might have built it, but I kept the lights on, or I kept the lights on and keep this place running. I'm the king. I rule. I'm, something along the lines." And they don't have to get physical. That face to face in the ring, larger the moments, have the crowd hear because the crowd started off hot. I'm gonna give that credit. That crowd started off hot. The waving of the towels, it looked like one of your guys, your Steelers, your the terrible towels there
with the red AMC flags. Yeah,
beautiful aesthetics to start there. At least for us when we were watching on the watch along, that I would have liked it, because now you move into the Hardys, who are so over right now as well. The nostalgic, you played the hits there. That match was great. You set up like Chris says, Chris Denver was mentioning, the Righteous versus Hardy, because they came out at the end of that match and attacked the Hardys. So now you're building up to Genesis, because you're like, oh, like Chris says, I gotta watch that fun match tonight with these Righteous and the Hardys. Who are these guys that attack the Hardys? Now you have that peak interest. Then again, if they would have gotten the X Division champion, because let's face it, TNA was founded on the X Division, not the world champion. The X Division was their main staple, their bread and butter of TNA. It was like, oh damn, you would have had that match because with Leon and Reed, which they headlined a pay-per-view back in the, I believe in Emergence, PLE in the late 2025. You would have had this match there. They would have killed it. I mean, they would have tore the house down. Visa issues for Leon Slater. Also, Danny Luna having some visa issues. I don't know if Jody Threat has some visa issues as well. I don't know. She's not available this weekend neither. So I don't know if there's some issues going around with the immigration status of these wrestlers, these TNA. And also, you would have had that match with Leon Myron, which now reports are saying that he would have worked. Despite signing with All Elite Wrestling, he would have finished his obligations with TNA to finish out, do the work for Leon, and had that banger of a match to keep because let's face it, he wants to keep the doors open with TNA, do the right thing. Also, Killer Kelly might be re-signed, and if you play nice, you might get her an opportunity. He might make more money in AEW, but you also want to keep your doors open. You don't burn bridges. That's the end of the game. And I think he was, if that's the truth to that rumor, bravo for Reed for wanting to keep that door open. But I think if they would have went to that, you would have been like, damn, that first 45 minutes of that AMC debut would have been like wow, what phenomenal, no pun intended, moments that they went off and running, but stuff happened. I know creative had to switch stuff on the fly. You could tell that was done last second. And it just you felt it, Chris. You just felt it. I understand they announced Perez, coming in, and he was going to come in, and he was the showing up, and that was already announced. They, for some reason, someone told him he was a big deal in the industry, which I don't know who lied. Which information is that? But at the end of the day, it happened already. What my question is, do they deliver for Genesis tonight?
They have to. It's not that they literally have to, because again, I think a lot of people have said this, and I've said this before. I said this before the show. This is not just anything. This is in life, ladies and gentlemen. Little life lesson, little life advice. You get one first impression.
That's true.
So if people are buying, people's first impression of that TNA show was, if they didn't think it wasn't good, but they still want to check out the pay-per-view, you've got to deliver. Because again, this could be your first impression for a lot of people for a TNA pay-per-view. So they have to. I mean, they literally have to. And do I think they will? I mean, the card's pretty good. I think they do. I don't see why not. The card looks fine. The main event, it's a Texas death match, first off. So we could possibly see some color. We could possibly see some action. We got a special guest referee who holds the Money in the Bank equivalent. So that's already the main event's interesting. You have, like what Chris Denver said in the chat, you have the Righteous versus the Hardys, which is going to be a banger. Joe Hendry's coming back for the show against Moose and Cedric. I mean, those matches right there are I mean, the rest of the show, it is what it is. There are a couple things there. You got JDC's last match, whatever, but those four things I just told you right there, it's a good card, and I think it'll deliver, but I think something needs to happen. I don't know if a debut, an appearance, something needs to get people talking after Genesis is over in a good way. Because since Thursday, TNA has been kind of the laughing stock of the wrestling industry for the last couple of days. Let's turn this around tonight and really, show up, because they have to. Again, I'm going to stress that they have to. Yes, thank you so much for pulling up the card right there, because it's not a bad card, right? I mean, when has TNA done a fucking intergender match? I don't like it, but I give thank you TNA for making it make sense. It's not just, why are these boring? No, I actually didn't think that was gonna happen. I'm not gonna lie. That shocked me when I saw that match being announced. So that I'm already curious about how that's gonna go. Intergender match, never before done really in the company. Cool. In a long time, at least. Rich Swann versus AJ. I mean, that's a good match. Obviously, first class. They're kind of
there's a story behind it.
There's a story behind it. Obviously, you got the last match, and then the only match that you could really, which is still is the Ying Lee and Zarya. That's the only match that you could say you might
cold match,
right? But other than that, there's not one match on this card I would skip. So yeah, they'll deliver. Hopefully, they have to.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback on this card because we also want to finish the ending on the AMC. Let's talk about Let's let me finish the point with the AMC, and then I'll get right into Genesis. I'll be fast. I understand that they probably wanted to create the buzz that WWE does with the social media, where after the match is over, with Nick Nemeth coming out, and then Santino talking about the rematch, and then Daria, the new general manager who came out, by the way, and making it a Texas death match with Nick Nemeth being the special referee who has the Call Your Shark gauntlet. It was a lot there to unpack, and they did it on the social media platform. I don't know how much of an interaction TNA gets on social media, but they're not the WWE right now to do that. Maybe with more time and more when they have more of a barometer with AMC viewership, TNA Plus app subscribers, then they could be daring on that. They should have put that on television for first and foremost, because then now people want to buy the PLE or the pay-per-view here tonight, especially when you're running at 10% off on if you do the TNA Plus app Legends this year, which I've just renewed myself, and I also taking advantage of that 10%. So take advantage of that for tonight. But they would have draw eyes.
I gotta do that tonight.
They draw eyes to the product. And I wish they would have done that on television. That's a little bit of a disconnect there. I understand the people then you're telling me that the people that are watching TNA are just hardcore wrestling fans, no matter what. They're gonna be on social. To a point, I agree with it, but this is a whole new audience at AMC. You could have put that even with the promo code on AMC. You would have probably got people to probably tune in. Hopefully they do it tonight. Hopefully because the card is going to deliver. If you're watching TNA like the way we do, for not just fly by night, not because my friend, my pal, is taking a couple of bumps and I'm going to hang out with him at the show. No, we've been covering it for years now, for quite some time. It's not about a dick measuring contest either. It's about we're letting you know, in case you didn't know. Mara Sade and Ryan Nemeth. For Mara Sade, there's a storyline when it comes to these two, and it feels, we saw that when he was the turkey for the turkey bow, with the super kick with the brother Nick Nemeth when they teamed up, when they had the 6-man in the gender match and so forth. It feels like Ryan is falling in love with Mara Sade. He's being a masochist no matter how much pain he gets, but this woman is just taking him to the level of love. And I guess they're going to wrestle. And it looks like that. Don't be surprised that it extends to Valentine's Day, which is around the corner. There's that storyline. If you like it or not, it's long-term story. They're telling us a story if you like it. The last, I think, intergender match, male versus female, was, I believe, Bully Ray versus Jordan Grace, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
That makes sense, yeah.
And then they just added this match, cold match, which I'm going to talk about it. It's your international champion Stax taking on Eric Young, the YouTuber BDD, because I got something about YouTubing and so forth. That's hitting the news hard, and a mystery opponent. It's going to be a fatal 4-way. Again, no Steve Macklin. There are reports that he's resigned with the company, but he has not been seen for the AMC, and he's not going to be here in Genesis. Concerning, I'm going to be honest with you, I am concerned a little bit with Steve Macklin. I hope he doesn't leave the TNA brand. I think he fits, the embodiment of TNA, the hardworking blue collar. But if he's going to make a lucrative deal elsewhere, I can't blame him. I hope he doesn't go anywhere. For Steve Macklin, he's not going to be in this match unless if he's the surprise. But why would you say a surprise if he's already with the company? Why be a surprise? I don't know. I'm just worried for Mac. And I hope he doesn't go anywhere. Mac, hope you come back to TNA personally and all that good stuff. I'm gonna go next to this one. This Rich Swann and AJ Francis. Remember they were part of First Class, where they had a disagreement with the Leon Slater. Rich Homie Swann did not want to hit Leon Slater. He found respect. And if you watch the way it played out on the Impact Zone, you see there's a story, the dismantling of First Class. AJ Francis, does he retool? Or does Rich Swann get someone from the past to spook a little bit of AJ Francis, like a Casey Navarro? I don't know how close he is to returning. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a KC just show up and even at the ramp just to cause that momentary distraction. And we could see I like AJ Francis to win. I'm going to give you my prediction of the winners. I think Mara Sade beats Ryan Nemeth. I think Stacks retains this international title. I don't think the newcomer. Who will be the newcomer? That's a good question. There's been names reports out there like a EC3, names like a Rich Holiday, Matt Taven. We'll see. We'll find out who will answer that. Or could it be another NXT wrestler? I hope. Please keep that kid away from TNA. Keep Shiloh Hill away, please.
I can again. Somebody tell me why the fuck BDE's in that. I didn't talk about that match for a reason, because why the fuck is BDE in this?
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about. I got that about that.
Please give it to Eric Young.
Please
give it to Eric Young.
We'll talk about that in a moment, Chris, because I got something that came out of this all that situation. Ooh. Retirement match. JDC or taking on his best friend or his good friend Eddie Edwards. Everyone talks about doing the job on your way out. You look at the lights. You look at but this is TNA. I wouldn't be surprised if JDC beats Eddie Edwards on his way out. We saw Tanahashi win. We saw lose. We saw Cena lose. So forth for years. This is TNA. I think I'm going to go against the grain. I think JDC wins, Chris. Who do you like on this one?
That's a tough one. I think JDC should leave on a high note. But Eddie Edwards, he could use the win. This is a tough one. But I would like to see a retirement match where the actual guy retiring wins. So I'm going to agree with you.
You like? Yeah. All right. AJ Francis.
I didn't watch Tanahashi's match, so I want to see.
No, I didn't either. I didn't see it either. I'm just going by what the wrestling community has been saying.
AJ Francis and Rich Swann.
Yeah, I like that one.
I do like that one. Who do I like? I like AJ. I mean, again, I hate to bring contracts up, but he's probably one that's going to be negotiating soon. But I think him winning the match just makes sense unless Casey comes out. But yeah, I like AJ.
You know what? Yeah, you can see that because now that leads for Casey Navarro and AJ Francis. Right. I think everyone wants that Casey Navarro to get his comeuppance on AJ Francis.
And he's there. I think he's there. Like whether he's not, going to be on the screen or anything. I think
he's in Dallas. Yes, indeed he is.
So you can have him just put on the ramp and have it where like I don't know, AJ Francis has Rich Swann down and then
he's about to do the down payment. Yeah.
Right, and then out of nowhere he just turns around or the crowd's like and then they all look, he's there, and then Rich Swann rolls him up or something. Not even a finisher, just rolls him up and wins. And then Rich Swann gets the fuck out of there.
I like that. That's why something different, something to think about, something to give you that perspective to think, like, oh wow. Because let's face it, wrestling fans these days, if you don't get a surprise entry or a return, the wrestling card doesn't work well. Oh, they need that. Oh, they need that. They need to feed the monster, which is called the reactionary podcast. They need to feed that so people can talk. And then, this feels good. Here's another one here. Elias taking on Mustafa Ali. I put some background music.
Oh, yeah. I like Ali winning that one.
Ali, I think Ali is the number one contender. This is kind of like a number one contenders match, if you ask me.
No, that's fair.
The tag team titles, the Righteous
I think the Hardys
taking on the Hardys.
I think the Hardys will win that, but I think that could be the best match of the night. Like Chris Denver said earlier.
That's going to be a banger of a match. I think the Hardys retain, but I think some type of disqualification.
Okay.
I don't think it's because I don't want to see. But honest with you, Righteous is just brand new to the company. I don't need them to get completely pinned and finishly done by the Hardys, because then where does that bring the Righteous again? Like, do you really care or think about them being in that next level?
Yeah.
This is where it'll be. To be honest with you, this will be a nice spot for our Karrion Kross to pop out and help. But I don't think Karrion is going to be signed with the company. I think he has a obligation with MLW in the 29th in Florida. So I don't know if that's something feasible for Karrion to be signed. That would be a great spot there, like, oh damn, and help get the titles. But I think something weird. I think Hardy's retain, but I think the Righteous gets the victory some way, somehow. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. This is a code match. We all know that Danny Luna, number one contender for the knockouts for Ying Lee, has visa issues. Won't be able to make it. In steps in Zarya versus Ying Lee. You like Ying Lee to win, Chris?
Yes.
I'm going the opposite. I'm taking Zarya to become your TNA Knockouts champion, because for some reason they find a satisfaction in having a TNA title go to NXT wrestler, because I guess they feel like it's going to help the eyeballs for people to be watching, especially with the AMC. If you see Zarya there and so forth on NXT TV, on the CW, where you're going to see the TNA name brand being a cross promotion of different networks. I think Zarya beats Ying Lee going forward, and then you're going to start seeing, I think, later down the road, when they don't qualify for the Knockouts title, So Ruka turns on Zarya and on TNA television, where that's where that feud is going to start brewing, and then you're gonna have, I think that's the way that goes. You could kind of see that storytelling being ran. We've been saying it for about a year, maybe even longer, where Zarya should turn on So Ruka. I think it's going to be the opposite. I think So flips, and I think it's going to be the opposite there. Because now Zarya has gold and So doesn't, and it was the opposite where So had all the titles and now Zarya. I think that's where the jealousy, and we're gonna find out it was So all along that was not the good one of the relationship, of the friendship. Triple threat match that they just added because Leon has visa issues, or he's working the WWE European tour. Triple threat: Cedric Alexander, Joe Hendry, Moose. I asked this. This seems like a number one contenders for the X Division title. I would like Cedric to win this. I think Cedric wins this match. I think he becomes your number one contender for Leon Slater. They'll run that match again back, and that's going to be great. Although Moose and Leon is another one that intrigues me, because, my goodness. But let me ask you, Chris, can they ever duplicate that masterpiece that they had at what you call it, over the summer for Slammiversary? I don't know if they could give you that same exact masterpiece.
Who?
Leon and Moose.
Oh, Leon and Moose. Oh, yeah. No. They won't give you the same match that they had at Slammiversary. I think Cedric, yeah. And look, the story's already there. Again, Cedric in the beginning of the year kind of wanted Leon to, like, step out of his shell and actually beat up the Hardys. And it was kind of like big bro, little bro thing for a tag team for a little bit. Had a couple good matches. So I like to see it running back. Yeah, I like it.
All right, here's the main event. Your rematch from Thursday night, Frankie Kazarian. Your new world champion, Mike Santana, but your special guest referee, Nick Nemeth, in a Texas death match. Now, I know he's got the Call Your Shot gauntlet. My question I'm asking you, or asking the chat, does he have to bring a referee in to catch his gauntlet, or could he actually be a participant and also do the 3 count and win the title if he wanted to for Nick Nemeth? I thought you had to present it.
If it's during the match.
Okay.
If it's during the match, maybe. But if Nick Nemeth 1, 2, 3, Mike Santana wins, and then he tries to call his shot, I will go on a fucking rampage if Nick Nemeth counts for himself. Because your match is over. You already declared a winner. You technically are not the referee for that match anymore. You technically are not a referee anymore. That's how I would look at it. And if if that were to happen, I will go on a fucking rampage because that's stupid. But I pray this isn't what is going to happen, but I got to say it. Mike Santana wins, and what I just mentioned happens. Nick Nemeth could walk out tonight as the TNA World Champion. It is very much possible.
Let me be the cynical.
Go ahead.
No, finish. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying it, but again, I think TNA will lose a lot because how many fucking times are we going to sit here and wait for Mike Santana to have a world title reign more than a defense or two? Look, I don't know if I would even at this point be that invested anymore into it because it's just how long are we going to wait for this? This is his time. So Mike needs to leave Genesis as world champion. By the time, though, that's why when he won on Thursday, I didn't celebrate right away. I wanted to see those fucking credits, which that is another thing. Credits now? Carlos Silva and Tommy Dreamer's names. Very
WWE.
But anyway, I got to see those credits pop up and for Santana to go off the air with the title. Otherwise, yeah, but that could happen. That could happen.
No, my question is the cynical in me. And I ask you this. Well, I know my answer. I think I know your answer, but still. What is more appeasing in the wrestling eyes or business? Spot number 17 in the Royal Rumble. Your TNA World Champion comes out. And it is
Nick Nemeth, of course.
That's why I'm worried.
And I told you what Dave said on Busted Open the other day. He told this to Nick Nemeth on Thursday. He was like, dude, if I'm watching AMC as the first time viewer and I'm looking at Nick Nemeth, Frankie Kazarian, and Mike Santana, I'm gonna know who Nick Nemeth is because he's the star. And as soon as I heard him say that on Thursday, I was like, fuck, Nick Nemeth could leave the weekend as TNA champion because of that reason. Look at the reaction that guy got at MSG, bro, for Raw. I mean, that really says it all. You can't do anything about that, bro. He's been around since 2006. I don't know. Like, you can't compete. He's fucking phenomenal. He is the best at what he does. I think he's a top 5 wrestler right now. So I'm not surprised.
And what sucks is this is why I hate where the hell they're doing this freaking Rumble. It's in Saudi. Mike Santana comes out. I don't think.
Hell no, they're gonna have cricket, bro.
It's gonna be, and I love Mike. You know that. Everyone knows my post my ex and my Instagram are Mike Santana. We changed it all for me. My personal picture with Mike, and yeah, but we got to call it as the way it is. I know he said on Peter Rosenberg on Cheap Heat, if the phone rings, he's wanting the answer. He's ready to go to Saudi. Mike has his passport ready to go to represent TNA as a champion at the Royal Rumble. But if you were looking at it, Nemeth, people say, oh, and he sees him there, and maybe TNA would like to see Nemeth try. They think they could have that audience of Saudi Arabia to start tuning in TNA. That's my worry. Hey, we got to call it. Call it, man.
I didn't even think about that.
We got to call it as it calls.
I didn't even think about that. Wow.
And Nemeth is in TNA, and now you get Saudi Arabians and that part of the world that want to tune in and watch TNA. And I always go back to my man Trick Williams, who had a phenomenal freaking Friday. It's not the best story; is what's best for business. Remember, Trick Williams said that on that promo, and that always sticks and resonates in my head. It's not who has the better story; it's whoever what's best for business. And I hate to say it. Nemeth showing up at the Rumble is better for business. For me, my heart wants Mike Santana, and I'm gonna wave that like he tells me that shit. And yeah, for Mike Santana, that's our guy, that's our man. But that represents as our champion. But what best for TNA business is Nick Nemeth at the Rumble. I hate to say it, but you know what? I would love an opportunity for Mike to be put in that spotlight. But again, it's in freaking Saudi Arabia. If it wasn't in Saudi Arabia, anywhere else, then I could see, you know what, you got to give an opportunity. But where they're at in the region sucks. That's the only thing. Because I don't think there's a lot. Puerto Ricans are everywhere, but I don't think they're gonna be in Saudi. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one going forward. Again, if they don't hit on if TNA does not hit on Genesis, with the storytelling and the finishes and just the way it looks. I think, and look, Carlos Silva is known as he's an athlete. He told us what he does. He's a triathlon athlete. He's an athlete. He likes to win. He's a competitor. Wouldn't be surprised if he's starting to think about removing creative, head of creative decision, or bringing in help, because if people are going to be, and he's very in tone. He keeps his ear on the ground. If this guy did not help out, if Victor FC get going and PLFL, if you see his backstories of tennis, in the world of tennis on television and so forth, he knows about that. Production issues, that's why I don't worry about the production. That's going to get fixed under a Carlos Silva regime, because he knows about that stuff. But creative, he doesn't know much about the wrestling world, but if he sees something wrong with creative, he's going to say, I think he's going to be a proactive type of guy for the better of the company. Look, he sets out goals, 3, 6, and 9. Every 3 months he wants to do something better. He's very goal oriented. If he sees creative and the story and things are not going well, he's the type of guy who's going to make a change. He had no fear allowing Gail Kim to go, and there was a little backlash with that, if you remember. He has no fear.
Bro, so real big backlash, because that knockouts division, I don't think it is suffering.
But he has no fear to make those changes.
Right? Yeah. No, well said. I have no argument on that one.
Beware on that. All right, let me take a quick break here. I wanted to hear a quick word from our sponsor, and then I want to talk about what we talked about the YouTube influencing. How is this affecting professional wrestling a little bit? But we're going to hear from our sponsor, our new one, Blackout Coffee.
Sports Jedi Nation, you already know how I move. I don't start my day without two things: standing firm in what I believe in a cup of coffee that actually represents those values. That's why I rock with Blackout Coffee. It's a 100% American company, unapologetic, patriotic, pro-Second Amendment, an anti-woke nonsense, no corporate posturing, no virtual signing, just real coffee for people who still believe in God, family, and freedoms. Every bag is a roast right here in my beautiful state of Florida, and it's shipped straight to your door. Fresh, bold, no compromises. If you need to hit the ground running, the Morning Reaper I suggest, a medium roast that goes smooth, powerful, and kicks like a mule. Support a company that actually gives a damn about this country. Go to Blackout Coffee Rumba. Use my promo code Rumba for 20% off, or Sports Jedi 20 of your first order. Blackout Coffee. Wake up, stand up, never back down. Fuel your freedom. Real coffee with real values. A bold, backed by freedom. Wake up and think free. And may the sports be with you.
All right, that's our new sponsor. Use my promo code SportsJedi20 and save, or you go to blackoutcoffee.com/rumba and put the word rumba, and you'll get 20% off your first order, of course, and definitely check it out. Let's go. Mike, back to what we were talking about of BDE, YouTuber, social influencer. About, what is it that they say about 4 million or 1.4 million followers, something along the lines. We all know WWE, and it has to do with the WWE as well. WWE had their tryouts all across. They brought in a bunch of bodybuilders, personalities, social media personality influencers to try out, because they see people do a couple of bumps here. And we all pretend to be wrestlers when we were young with the pillow, or your cousins and so forth. They think they could do these things. They skateboarding, daredeviling situation for clout chasing. My next one is this one. There was a young lady, Sally Grace, not known in relation to Harley Brace. She quit. She quit the WWE tryouts in the middle of the tryouts, claiming that they're giving out everybody and their mothers concussions down in the performance center because she felt concussed. I'm going to put a video, and this is her video of her statement.
It's the first time it's ever happened to me. I've fallen on concrete skateboarding. I was a gymnast my whole life. I've taken slams, but I had to stop running bumps yesterday because I knew my brain, something wasn't right in my brain. Like when you fall on your back, And they kept telling me to do it harder, go harder. And I'm like, you know, everyone's super respectful in the wrestling industry, and I'm a respectful person myself. So I go up to the coach, and it took a lot of nerve. In front of everybody, I went up, I shook his hand, I go, "Sir, with all due respect." And I don't remember exactly what I said, but it was something like, "I got a lot of stuff going on right now. I can't ruin my brain, and I know something's not right in the head right now." So I had to take the L in that one and step out to protect my noggin. But it was just crazy. Everyone's getting concussed left and right, and they're saying that there's going to be more happening. I'm obviously facing repercussions right now.
So she says there's going to be more happening, more concussions and concuss, and she's concussed. But meanwhile, if you watch her social media posts, she had no problem gloating about getting that tryout. She actually took a picture of her with the WWE woman, the WWE title in her hands. Hey, look at me, be here. I believe she got over about almost close to 1 million people before that. She's telling the world that she's got a tryout with WWE. You see her doing skateboarding, doing all these crazy daredevil truck, shooting range with all type of automatic weapons that if even with ear protections, you know, trust me, I am a card carrying concealed weapon holder, and I know about that. Makes a lot of noise when you go to the gun range and so forth. I'm not saying she didn't get injured. No, don't misinterpret that. But to say that everyone in the performance center, every one of those people are getting injured and getting hurt, she stepped into a world she had no fucking clue what she was stepping into, Chris.
Yeah. I mean this is an interesting subject because we know, right? WWE likes to get athletes, like NIL people. And it could work. Like, for example, it worked with Kalani. Like, she's probably the ultimate example, right? She's really good at what she's doing. But I also think people like the lady that we just heard from, I also think she's probably saw somebody like Kalani and was like, well, I can do that.
Correct.
And when she was like, oh, like, maybe I had no future in whatever sport it is that she's doing now, and she wants to try wrestling.
She's not even an athlete, Chris. She's a social media influencer.
Oh.
Not an athlete.
Oh, she's not. No. Oh. I thought she was one of the. Okay, then never mind, ladies and gentlemen.
Not an NIL. Okay. Social media influencer.
All right. My bad. First off, wow. I thought she was an athlete. All right, guys. Here, listen to this. Change the flow here. Watch my video. I tweeted it out the other day. The link's there. Check it out. Because I talked about this exact issue where social media influencers try to become pro wrestlers. And I made a video. I showed you guys examples. I showed you guys the literal proof. And I wanted to, since, look, I don't even know how to tackle this because it's so many different things I have on my mind when it comes to this subject. Because I don't know what makes a BDE want to be a pro wrestler, first off, because he's a fan of it. I mean, is he a bad pro wrestler, bro? He's not the worst. Okay, I think I've seen Sean Ross Sapp get in a wrestling ring. He's like, BDE's not bad, but it's the simple fact that BDE does it. Chris Danger does it. Why does everybody want to do it? Why? It's ridiculous. What the people already clown a guy like Logan Paul, who has way more clout, followers, money, success, and all of these internet sensation influencers that you see in the front row. They're uncreative as fuck. They have no talent. I don't even know why they call themselves content creators. You need to be creative to create. Okay. I don't know why they think that because the people watch wrestling that they could be a fucking wrestler. It's ridiculous. I will, you're never going to see me get into a wrestling ring. I'm not going to call up Ricardo Rodriguez because he's the guy here that does the local school. Shout out to Three Legacies. I'm not going to call them and say, yo, I'm this, and this. I want to be in a ring. Let me get and it sucks because most of the time they would say, yes, if I was, BDE, 1 million followers, whatever, Sean Ross Sapp, the biggest, if not one of the biggest reporters in pro wrestling right now. That's why. I mean, look at somebody like the people that we talk to. Happy birthday to Matt Awesome. A guy like Matt, right? I'm just using him as an example because, whatever, it's his birthday. I want to throw him out there today. He will never get an opportunity like a BDE because he does not have 1.4 million followers on his fucking YouTube. But this guy is every weekend putting on shows. He has a real job. He, has a, he does it the right way. Let's just say that. He does it the right way. And he probably won't get the opportunity a BDE has because he doesn't have the 1.4 million followers, or he doesn't glaze the company. And it's sad because he, guys like him, they work hard. They really want to be wrestlers. They've been doing it forever. They didn't start off as content creators and all of a sudden want to be wrestlers. No, they said, this is what I want to do. And they trained at it and now they're doing it. And it kills me and it sucks. And as long as I have a voice and a platform, I'm going to always stress this out. I will never stand watching somebody like a BDE or Minnie the Muppet get an opportunity on fucking TNA TV where there's guys like Janai Kai, Matt Awesome, and all those guys that literally, I don't want to say deserve, they fucking earned the opportunity to be in your position, and they're not, and it's disgraceful, and I think it's a real embarrassment to this industry. It is.
No, and this is on the heels of the young lady that had, got an opportunity that some of these individuals not even get a tryout, not even maybe one time in their whole career. Why isn't a Big Ben Bishop having an opportunity for a WWE tryout? The guy fits.
He should be in TNA, bro.
Absolutely. Look at this. Look at his
he's not in
stature.
TNA right now. But BDE's in TNA, but Big Ben Bishop's not. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Ben Bishop should be in the international. If Steve Maclin's not going to come back and be the international champion, I would not be pissed if Ben Bishop comes in there and gets it. Not over Eric Young, of course, because Eric Young's OG, and I want him to get a big run here. But Ben Bishop looks like a fucking pro wrestler. Like
so does Bear Brunson.
So does Bear.
Not my cup of coffee, but
He's not my cup of coffee. But I'd rather see him go against Steve Maclin than fucking BDE. I don't know, bro. We talk about this all the time, whether it's here by ourselves. I made a whole video about it. I'm currently arguing with a lot of these creators. A lot of these creators block me. Dude, it's stop trying to be a fucking wrestler, bro.
And it's a mafia because they all in a mafia with a group of themselves, and they're
on a mafia with a group of themselves, and now they're their guy. They have somebody in their mafia who's somewhere now. They're all gonna rally behind and leech off his.
The guy with that bud mustache too. The other guy.
I really thought Con Man was Perez Hilton when Perez Hilton came out. I was like, is that Con Man? I swear to God. So no, you guys are clowns. You guys are uncreative. I have no respect for your content. That's just what it is. Stop trying to be pro wrestlers and move the fuck on and keep doing your content.
But this is on the heels of that young lady Sally Grace quitting the W tryouts, claiming she was concussed and they were pushing her and they wanted to keep her going to work.
Why would she? I'm sorry. Why would she? Do you don't think that's going to get some type of, I mean, not that anyone could really do anything that what she's saying, but you don't think that she's going to get people people will recognize her in public or people will and then she's, she'll probably hear, how do I say this? That might've been her introduction to how crazy wrestling fans are, or just people that, cause she's kind of exposing the business in a way. You don't think?
She's saying things that maybe people will disagree mightily. She's telling that the coaches don't care if she was concussed. They kept harder, push again.
And if a wrestler sees that, like a Jada Parker, or somebody who's not, I'm just using her as an example, right? Who's in the NXT program for a while, has been trained. She could come out and be like, first off, who the hell are you? Second, you have no idea what you're talking about. And now it's this whole thing with her. She looks stupid. She kind of loses a reputation a little bit. That's what I'm saying. We're talking about her, but I feel like it's an overall message to every content creator, even us, because
it happened to Letty. There's a young lady back in the performance center, and her name was Letty. She was part of Chase U. Really didn't get much of. She wrestled from time to time, and then she realized it wasn't for her. It wasn't for her. She walked away, and I think she had an issue with Cora, which, by the way, joined TNA.
Oh, that's the one. Yeah. That's the one. Yeah. Okay.
And so forth, and it just felt like it wasn't for her. Listen, you have to be careful when you bring the NIL athletes, because a lot of them, either they're too busy being world-class athletes, either for Olympics, collegiates. They don't have time for professional wrestling to watch it as a viewers like us. That's why, the reports has it now. And this is so much that the IWC contradicts itself a lot. First, there was a report that WWE, I'm going to read this one. According to Meltzer, I don't take it for a grain of salt. He's accurate 50-50 at a time. Let's put it that way. I'm going to give him 60-40. WWE is focused on bringing black males and bodybuilders to the WWE tryouts. But meanwhile, they have social media influencers. Then the other report comes out. I believe Wrestling News quoted out. WWE shifting to recruit and focus back on independent talents in 2026. So which is it? Are they getting black male bodybuilders, social influencers, or they're going to recruit independent scenes? To me, it sounds like a contradicting report.
A little bit. Yeah. No, yeah, that is a little. No, that's very contradicting. No, I agree.
So that's my question. Which one is it? This is why, if you go listening to wrestling media or the IWC, you get confused on which reports to believe in. So I guess people believe what they want to believe. They believe the worst of the worst. So Triple H is the racist. He's going to just get black athletes.
It's one thing for people to listen to reporters, but like a Sean Ross, like a report. But I think people are going along with stuff like that because of talent, like MVP, or people have like Devon is going off of him and JR are in a argument. Like it's just when a lot of when a wrestler says something like that, I think it's different from like a Sean Ross Sapp or a Dave Meltzer because they're automatically going to believe that. Well, he said it. No, he said it. Devon said it. Or somebody like that.
Put a name behind it, like the way
right. They're going to put a credible name behind it because if let's say Dave Meltzer says Devon Dudley is scheduled to premiere tonight Genesis to he's a secret member of the whatever, and he goes, no, I'm not, and everyone's going to believe Devon, right? Instead of Dave. So I just think it's who is breaking the report or story, whatever it is. I think that it just depends who it is for it to be, credible or whatever like that. I don't know.
Right. But here's the thing. If they are going to go the independent route, like we mentioned some names of really good, ambitious, talented, hungry wrestlers that have been grinding, individuals that have been grinding independent scenes. If you want to start give them a fair tryout. If they're not your cup of coffee as a wrestler, but what is it hard to give a tryout to, ladies like we've seen, so-and-so, like, I hate to throw the names out because then we feel like we're just politicking for the individuals, but there's a lot of young men and women on the independent scenes that should get a shot. And I'm going to throw this two names, why, and I know she had a tryout a couple years ago for the WWE. Vicious Vicky should be one that should be trying out for an NXT. You're telling me and Evolve, bring that storytelling and her look. Hopefully TNA scoops her up and that's and a great one. 1 year in the state of Florida that it just puzzles me. You see the online phenomenon, the airport test with this young lady, and I'm like, what's going on here? Are we it's okay where for Nikki Blackheart? Why? And it's like no TNA brought in, no, not even Tony Khan in the AEW Ring of Honor, not even a match. It makes me raise an eyebrow. Also, as well as WWE tryouts here in Florida. You're telling me that some of these when all these shows that they run up and down the coast of Florida, they don't know about Coastal Championship Wrestling and what Nikki Blackheart's doing either. No tryouts, no talks. We don't know. I mean, those are things that makes me wonder. Janai Kai. Like you said, up in the big Ben Bishop. Talking about that, Rich Holiday, he's been around grinding the independent scene. Heck, even a name that people, trying to make a big name himself online, like a Tommy Invincible. I mean, nothing, like no sniff, no. I know they all have had. Maybe they had a tryout, and we don't know. But another one, maybe bring them back and see what have you learned. If they're still making the same mistakes, or maybe we're not. Maybe we're not privileged to know those information. But but you're willing to give someone who doesn't know how to do it. Maybe they see that they could mold these wrestlers or these influencers or these athletes like a clay. They'll learn how to do it the way they want to do it, roll this way, and maybe they can take those way that they were taught bad habits out of the independent wrestlers. I don't know, Chris. Help me out here.
No, that's a tough one. I don't know, because you would think somebody like a Tommy Invincible. I mean, he's appeared on AEW recently, like little here and there, like as extras. But I don't know. Like you would think some of those guys would. And I know Rich Holiday, he could show up tonight on TNA. He could show up on TNA.
We hope.
Mustafa Ali even kind of endorsed it. So we'll see, man. I think. It does raise an eye. WWE, those companies are hard. I can understand that, but for a Tony Khan, somebody that likes to sign everybody, I mean, that's kind of a shocker. I mean, do something with Ring of Honor, make it like your developmental for AEW, because they're not going to succeed as its own brand. So, make it. And look, that's kind of what NXT is not trying to. The brand itself is not trying to compete with anything. They're just a developmental brand for WWE. Let that what Ring of Honor be for AEW. And I think we're going to see some people. And it's going to want more people to watch Ring of Honor, and it's going to make people know who these people are when they do show up on AEW. So I don't know. Somebody, that's a good question. And for the female side, I mean, you see them get opportunities. Right. I mean, we've seen these people in like dark matches and all that stuff. So I don't know if maybe they don't have the right connections. They don't have the right people around them. I don't know. Social media can only take you so far. I mean, I'm surprised about Tommy. He's somebody that I really thought would be in an AEW or something. So I don't know. It raises an eyebrow a little bit, but there has to be something going on behind the scenes that again, we don't know about, like you said, that attitude problem, something, ego. I have no idea. But I do have a theory, and I feel like a lot of these people have tried out. They're just, obviously they're not going to publicly say I tried out for this and that and that, and I didn't get it. I didn't make it. Like no one's going to fucking, unless like somebody, sees you there and can spill the beans. We don't really know. So yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. But I do feel like a lot of these people have had tryouts. They're just, we don't know because they probably didn't make it, and they're not going to tell us they didn't make it.
Okay, I give you that fair assessment. But can I say this statement? Are you a more better person today than you were 6 months ago? Have you developed? Are you grown? Have you?
I think so. Yes.
So why not these professional wrestlers in the independent scene? That's
Fair.
all I got. That's all I'm saying. Okay,
That's
they
fair.
might have not given you they might have not wow you at the moment of the tryout 3 years ago, 2 years ago, but you have the right to improve. You also could say you could diminish your skills and you could get worse. It goes both ways. But my point is, these wrestlers that they had the tryouts, they might have a moment to improve. Now they stay, maybe when they tried out, they were a little nervous, and then now they got more hours in the ring bumping, and it slowed down for them. Maybe hey, maybe who knows? It could happen like the same thing in like a quarterback. Quarterback might need to get some reps and might get in a game, and the game might slow down, and they go to another level. They become, or they just are who they are. Maybe but I'm hoping there's a balance where these coaches give them a chance to prove and not just stereotype them and say they are who they are. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm saying for the independent scene. Give them an opportunity and have that open mind to see if they have improved and if you could improve and work. Because all I hear about from wrestling content creators across the board, how wrestling is stale and boring. So maybe we do need to bring in an influx of independent talent that could wrestle and know what they're doing and not just botching. If you bring green horns, they might just they're going to make the product even more duller or boring. You want to. That's all my case on that. That's my worry with if you're saying the business is boring, which I don't think it is. It's just right now we're in a very critical business or as fans that likes to criticize every little thing. And speaking of criticism, we saw it on Thursday night with one and only then the franchise of TNA Moose speaking with a guy. I'm just going to call his name, with JD from New York. JD from New York has, said a few things about the TNA production, didn't about it, and Moose just defended the TNA brand, pretty much. They've got into a back and forth argument with one another. And thank God it was a debate, not an argument. It was a debate among two adults. It wasn't, I don't think it was personal or disrespectful to a degree, but they both had a dispute. Your thoughts on that, if you want to comment, if we could pass, if you do not.
I mean, it's JD from New York. Are you really surprised? I mean, the only thing, again, we talked about this off air a little bit. The only thing I'll say is he didn't at Moose.
Fair, yes.
JD will usually at the person or will retweet. He's not scared to, so he didn't at anybody. So he just gave an opinion. So I will give a, I'll give some light, I'll give JD a little bit of a, I'm not going to whatever, because he didn't at anybody. He just said what he said. He said something that everybody was saying. Again, I'm not defending him, but he did say something that the whole wrestling world, maybe that triggered Moose because he's so controversial and no one, he's so negative. Maybe that just triggered it. He triggered Moose specifically, but the whole Twitter community was talking about how bad the show was. I just think coming from him, it hits different because he's negative. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see.
What up, Delano? What up, Delano? But yeah, he'll at you, like, or he'll retweet, so he's not scared. So if he really had something with Moose, he would have added Moose. So, but it's a stupid Twitter back and forth.
Let me ask this: JD from New York, his platform is about criticism of the professional wrestling world. He reviews it and he critiques it. Am I correct? Is that his content?
Mm-hmm.
And according to the numbers, he was one of the top ones. So
time, yeah.
He's one of the top in the wrestling community for whether you like him, dislike him, whatever the case is. That your cup of coffee, not your cup of coffee. That's what he does. To me, I think that was the first name that came out of Moose algorithm, and not for nothing. That's pride. That's TNA pride from Moose. He feels that his company and these guys in that locker room and worked their ass off to get that television deal. That's their big night. That's where they worked and sacrificed and did all this to get that to that day of January 15th and damn, I can't even catch a break. Not even say congratulations, guys. You're up here. I'm hearing immediately these minutia of negative or criticism, either whether it's constructive or not. I'm going to ask this question. When is the fine line when it's constructive or plain out piling on, shitting on criticism? Because I think we don't know when is that fine line.
I would agree to an extent because I feel like some of the stuff he genuinely, and I've even told you I just think the way he tackles things, because again, I will be honest, half of the shit he says, he is right.
I can't disagree. Like he says, tell me when I tell lies.
Like it's like, okay, this is why it hits different, people. Let me give you guys a little example. If I said I didn't really like TNA's production, they could really fix it. It was the first show, it wasn't there yet. I think they'll keep going better, whatever. That's criticism, whatever. I think Moose would, whatever, he didn't, this show's fucking terrible. These guys are stupid. What the is it? Like, it's the way he tackles shit. And it's his, it's literally that. It's the way he talks about it and the way he approaches it. That's why it hits. To me, that's why it hits different because, again, Moose really didn't do anything on the show. So he didn't at anybody. I don't think any of the tweet he made was, he didn't say like hometown man's fucking stupid. Like he just said this match was dumb or like this segment. Like he didn't say anybody specifically. And again, that's something that it might have triggered Moose the wrong way because JD when I mean he is the best. He is the biggest at what we do. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were all looking at JD because they're like, oh, JD's like, he don't talk about TNA. We know he shits on AEW and this and that. And they were probably watching it. They were probably watching it backstage, and one of us got to say something. And Moose is who's, you know, I don't know. But I have no idea. But it is you know, I understand Moose. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and say Moose had no right. No, he, you know, he's been with TNA. He's been riding that flag when nobody else was, right? He has complete reason to 1-2 clap back to a comment like that. But again, everybody was making comments like that. I saw some worse comments. So I don't know. I think Moose just picked and choose who he wanted to reply to.
Okay, fair. I could give that. But here's the one thing I don't agree with Moose, where I give JD the criticism. If you, like you said, I hate the fact, oh, you've never been in a ring, you don't know what you know. I paraphrase.
I hate that, Moose. Yeah,
I hate that as well. So when the wrestlers want to throw that back at and yes, you are correct. We never been in a ring, we never take the bumps, but we're the paying customer. We're the paying customer. We're the ones that purchase your merchandise,
right?
The television platform that you're going to be showcased, whether it's on cable, streaming, pay-per-views, whatever the case. We are that consumer that wants to get you over. You know, we go to we travel and fly to or go to different locations to go watch you. So doesn't mean that we have to be disrespectful. See, this is where the line gets crossed at times, because sometimes they get disrespectful. See, people don't know how to have that debate or give your point across, the delivery of it to be in a form of disrespect. I'm not saying JD's been disrespectful. I'm not. I'm talking about other comments when it comes to TNA. There's a lot of guys that want to, or girls that want to tell their points to the performers that or display their dislike to certain things in the wrestling community. They cross the line of disrespectful. And that's something that I think everyone needs to be held accountable. Learn how to convey your message or your constructive criticism in your point of view without crossing the line of disrespect. And I think we could learn from that in the IWC. Because if, you know, and anyone goes tribalism, they get to, you know, they disrespect. Well, you know, it's so much disrespect going around that it's starting to get a little bit, or it has gone out of control. And people are more maybe sensitive when the real constructive criticism comes or dislike from anyone. And then, you know, the antennas are up, the guards are up. I think that's what we're suffering these days.
Yeah, no, I agree. Again, yeah, you're right. There's a difference between the respect and all that stuff. You know, this isn't the first time. You know, he's really. I mean, this wasn't even disrespectful. Nobody took personal shots. It usually happens like that. But I don't know, man. It's just you know, I can see, I could defend both ways a little bit. But again, yeah, Bully likes to say it too, and that was like Moose's number one thing. It's like, okay, Moose, like, I gotta keep it real. Like, how are you going to, you know, you say, well, you whatever, but you're going on interviews with people who've never wrestled. So you're talking to people like us who've never wrestled before. But because it really is sometimes with, and he's not the only one that Moose has done that with. I really think sometimes with him it's pick and choose, because he's not going to say that to somebody like, I don't know, like, again, if he would have had if JD's demeanor was different, I think he doesn't even say something like that, because he knows it's stupid, right? I don't, you know, if somebody makes me a bad salmon, I'm going to say your salmon fucking sucks. And I'm not a chef. Because I'm not a chef, I'm not allowed to say your food's trash. I know what good food tastes like. I know what good music sounds like. I know what good wrestling looks like. I have eyes. I've listened to people who have done it in interviews, and I take my opinion. That's that I don't want. That's what, and I hear Bully Ray say that shit too.
I hate that when he says that.
And I'm like, first off, you're employed by somebody who's never wrestled before and who does a talk show. Second, it makes no sense. Like, it makes no sense, because What a fan like says, hey, like good match, this and that. Oh yeah, like, well, why are you gonna tell me good match? You don't know about wrestling. But if somebody says, oh, I didn't like what you did, well, you don't know what you're talking like that. These wrestlers use that as an excuse when they had nothing else to say. In my opinion, you didn't. Well, you don't wrestle, so you don't know, motherfucker. That's so stupid. Like, how are you gonna tell me just because I don't agree with it and I haven't like that's just where I feel like it comes from the disagreement and that these wrestlers pull that card.
It gets used a lot, like both with both on both sides. I think I think both sides are at fault. To a degree. Us as wrestling community that wants, when is it that when does it become when we're crying wolf? I'm gonna put us as well because it's just not JD from New York. When is it when the content creator or the critique or the constructive critic becomes crying wolf? Because sometimes because we hear this term a lot, Chris, that I get a little bit bothered with. Oh, that's lazy booking or lazy creative. How do we know that? I hate when they use that term. How do we know that? And the same thing when it takes it becomes like you're crying.
I mean, I think there's a better term for that, but I don't think that the term lazy booking necessarily is a bad thing because when you look at something like an open challenge, I mean, something like that's every week could be. I'm just using that as an example. I'm not saying it is, but something like when they don't know whatever. I mean, I could see why somebody would say that's lazy booking. I don't always agree with it, but I could insert, and there's some like, oh, we're getting this again. And we've said that a lot on a lot of shows. We're getting this again.
Like the party matches.
Right. Isn't that not lazy booking? $2,000 matches every week. Is that not lazy booking? You have nothing. You don't know what else to do. So you're going to keep giving us $1,000.
Fair. Very good point.
I think
very
that's
good
lazy
point.
booking.
Very good point. See, I like that. That's a very good point. Like the open challenge. Like
every week, that's lazy booking.
Unless if open challenge.
Open challenges are they. It depends, right? I don't think they should go every week. This is how I've always liked open challenges, bro. If you're doing an open challenge like Leon, right? Like the match is gonna be great. We're gonna pop for the moment. What's next? That's what I'm saying with open challenges, bro. Open challenges should be let's say you want to restart the United States Championship picture. I'm using last night as an example, right? Leon Slater comes out there. He's an open challenger, whatever. They have a match. How are we going to use this match and this open challenge to set up something for them in the future? And they never do that. Sometimes it's always on to the next open challenge, on to the next. Use your open challenges to set up the story with your challenger. They don't do that. That's the problem I have with open challenges.
And here's where I come back to the argument I make. The wrestling community is being conditioned. If it's not someone new from another company or from somewhere else, it's not a good show.
Right.
Where the open challenges before Leon got there's been storytelling with that. Ciampa Ciampa's not going to be back no more. But before it was him trying to get to the United States title from Ilya and me calling a jackass and everybody jumping him and leapfrogging him and him getting frustrated. Now, creative never paid it off because we never got Ciampa to go against Ilya for that title. But they were trying to tell a story with that. Also in the back, which they continued it last night from Friday Night SmackDown, was Tama Tonga looking at the monitor like some pervert wanting a chance to wrestle for that United States title, but never answered the open challenge. But the storyline was he's lurking in the back, and now he ran into Shinsuke. That's storylines, technicals that are on the open challenge. There are storylines with that. But again, I could see where people could say there's lazy booking or that narrative that they repetitive. If Carmelo keeps wrestling every local independent wrestler or any other wrestler every week on open challenge, that doesn't work there, then that's become redundant and that becomes lazy because there's no story. Like you said, that was a great match for Leon Slater and Carmelo Hayes. Where are we going with the storyline? There is none. There is one. That was just to showcase. Yeah. That was more of a showcase. That was an exhibition showcase.
And it works. It works sometimes. And look, And you're right. I'm not saying that they're doing that right now, but I could see that that being an example. If they were to do that, I could see why somebody would call that lazy booking.
And that's true. They do all these open challenges during the episodic week-to-week shows, but nothing except during a pay-per-view event. Yeah, I have an issue with that.
That's a good call out there. Delaney. That's a good call out. Yeah.
That's a very good call. Very good call out there. With that. All right, so that's our little bit of TNA there. We got Genesis tonight. We're gonna be watching along with us. Let's talk a little bit of we're in the WWE. We're talking about the Monday Night Raw with Braun. We're not gonna go through the whole entire thing of Monday Night Raw, which was a good Monday Night Raw again. Very fun Monday Night Raw, but the Braun Breaker situation. Braun Breaker, Adam Pearce putting his hands on Braun. The Paul Heyman telling pretty much Mr. Pearce, you put your hands on Braun first. What do you think is going to happen with that storyline?
I mean, I don't think. I mean, we could see Braun Breaker out into the Royal Rumble. I mean, that doesn't really matter, right? You get Braun Breaker suspended, and he comes back at the Rumble, possibly wins it or in the Final Four. I mean, that's probably where they're going to end up going. I don't think Adam Pearce is going to get physical. But I can also see something where if he does come back, he can make Braun Breaker's like journey or life a little harder. But I think we just won't see him to the Rumble. I think he'll do the suspension and then we'll see him at the Rumble.
I don't think Pearce should be removed as general manager unless he's going to take a vacation for a couple of weeks, whatever.
No.
He's great. He's a great, from all the authority figures that they pretended to have throughout the years, like Laurinaitis, the laptop.
Right. Yeah.
Between Pearce and Aldis, I love the dynamic that those two gentlemen have.
Because Aldis and Pearce aren't, like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, when we watch like a Vicky Guerrero as a GM or somebody like her, right? The shitty GM.
Even like, Teddy Long.
Even Teddy Long, right? Because, you know, the thing, and people are going to hate us probably for what I'm about to say, whatever, but I don't think Teddy Long should be considered one of the greatest GMs because a great GM, and the reason why I like Aldis and Pearce is they will argue with they're the GM, but they have no problem arguing or overriding the people above them. They don't have no problem getting into that's where Teddy and all those people back then, they were getting told, it looked like, and you can tell, like a GM, like an actual GM, like it didn't feel like an actual GM. It felt like they were like, I don't know, an assistant manager of the show, and somebody was feeding him shit. These two, Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis, they feel like they're in charge. When we know Triple H is, right? And he's an on-screen kind of character. He's not he is. I mean, look at Rey Mysterio in WrestleMania 39, where he wanted to quit because he was going against Dom, and he went to Triple H on SmackDown, and they aired the segment. And, you know, he's an authority figure. So Pearce and Aldis, sometimes they will, you know, if they have to, they could argue with Triple H about something. That's what makes them unique to me.
Because Teddy Long didn't dare, pal, to go against me, because you're fired. That's what it was. Now they have a little creative freedom, liberty. Look, I think this is going to happen. I think Pearce is going to make Braun Breaker's life impossible by making him number one in the Rumble. And Braun is going to have to go 30 men to win the Rumble. I think that's the punishment. He's going to reinstate him, whatever the case is. All right, I'm going to put Braun. He's back at the Rumble, but he's going to be number one. Like, you know, so Braun will be the number one at the Rumble, and he's going to try to run the gauntlet to win the Rumble. If he's going to win the Rumble, he's going to have to go through 29 men, and that's how you build the lore of the mystique even more of the unhinged, uncrazy Braun Breaker, in my opinion. One thing that came out of Monday Night Raw that I'm going to touch on here with Delano, that I've been dying for to someone to finally breathe on the neck of Stephanie Becerra, with the way Raquel Rodriguez just came out and blasted her, actually broke the woman's title. Now, Raquel Rodriguez is making me care about Stephanie. I don't care. So now I like it. I like that. She needed someone to breathe on her neck. And I don't know if she wins the title, Chris, whenever that match happens. I don't know if she becomes your women's champion, but I like the breathing on down her neck.
Yeah, I don't think she'll become your world champion, but Raquel's doing the best shit she's done in her whole career. Right now, she's working like a heel. They need more heels like that, right? Ever since Naomi. got pregnant. So I like what Raquel's doing with Stephanie. She's kind of they're making Raquel feel important. Excuse me. They're making Raquel feel important. You never would have really thought she'd be in a world title scene like that. So her joining the Judgment Day and Liv Morgan getting injured is probably the best thing that happened to her career. So, she makes. What I mean by that and what I like it, it's like you see Raquel versus Stephanie. It's like obviously there's a clear heel and babyface. This, it can make Stephanie really, you want to rally behind her to beat up the big heel. So that's what I like.
And to me, I'm going to say this. I felt Monday Night Raw was storytelling for the Judgment Day group, from Liv and Roxanne becoming the number one contenders for the women's title, winning that triple threat. Also having Liv getting the face of Finn Balor while he was playing video games. Go do something. And Finn go, you're not getting a title. We're getting a title. Raquel's getting a title. What are you doing? Then I like the fact that he goes out later in the night and gets CM Punk's face. Remember I telling you on the watch, I said, "Ooh, this is a match I would love to see." You know what? I'm intrigued. Now we're getting it for this Monday night or this Monday afternoon from Belfast, Ireland. I had a prediction. I have a funny gut feeling in my pit of my stomach that CM Punk is going to lose that title to Finn Balor. I think Finn Balor wins that title. I have a funny feeling. I don't know why. I maybe because of the home thing, because I think they want to try to have CM Punk win the title in Chicago, which the Elimination Chamber is going to be at. I can see Punk getting his rematch there and becoming champion in front of his hometown in Chicago, heading into WrestleMania. I could see a short title run for Finn Balor through Royal Rumble into Elimination Chamber where Punk regains his title back in Chicago. I just got a funny feeling, Chris. Hey, Indy.
Chicago, Elimination Chamber. I mean, that dude. What did WWE do or decide that made them be like, okay, let's make Elimination Chamber kind of like the new hot show? Because last year's was obviously really good, and this year's is clearing up to be pretty good as well. I don't know what the hell is going to go on Elimination Chamber. I don't like giving those answers, but for me, I think I like that. I don't genuinely know what's going to happen because could Punk win the Elimination Chamber? I don't think he loses that title at the Rumble. Who's going to fight? Unless Braun Breaker fights him at the Rumble, which I don't think is going to happen. Is Cody in it? Like, what's gonna there's like SmackDown has a part of the chamber now too, with Cody not being champion. Like,
right,
and it's in Punk's hometown, but is he gonna walk in there as champion? Is he gonna be? I have no idea. On the Monday Night Raw side, I think, I'll get to that later, but I think with Punk, I think he is going to. I don't know who, but I think he'll defend that title. I think he walks in the Mania as champion, bro.
I think he gets it. Okay, might have a difference of opinion. We could go right into what you wanted to. We don't have to hold off on the SmackDown part. Go right into it because go ahead.
No, yeah, it's interesting now with like Jacob Fatu and Cody and all this thing. Like, how are they going to settle their differences to get a world title shot? I mean, they're doing this thing right now with the Undisputed Championship tournament, whatever, for the Royal Rumble. Cool. That doesn't solve the Elimination Chamber. That doesn't. And again, it all depends who wins the Rumble too. We have to wait. And to me, I can't even give a real prediction because I need to know who wins the Rumble. Because God for fucking bid, Cody wins the Rumble for a third time. But let's hypothetically say he wins the Rumble. There goes one of my Elimination Chamber picks right there. Like it's a tough one this year. It's a tough one, and they're making the show mean something, which is good because it's so close to WrestleMania. And we kind of had already, we know, right? If whoever wins the Rumble, we kind of have an idea who they're challenging for. So that's another thing too. What if a SmackDown wrestler wins the Royal Rumble and then or not a SmackDown, but what if they choose to go against Drew or Cody, whoever's champion? Now we got to figure out who's going to fight the Raw champion. Now you're going to have all Raw guys in the Elimination Chamber. That's why I kind of got to wait till the Royal Rumble to see what's kind of going to play out.
Okay. That's why I say Monday Night Raw from Belfast is very, very important because
right.
Remember what everyone says.
We had one person really declare. I don't know if Cody really declared.
Cody declared.
Okay, so we
declared on Friday.
Okay, so we have him declaring. So We got to have somebody else in this on Monday night to declare to make it a little more, even.
But here's the thing. Everyone's talking about how WWE's a little safe, Sesame Street-ish, safe, boring, whatever. Didn't we just talk about a realm of unpredictability, uncertainty, no definitive path with all these titles? Doesn't that, Drew winning the title is also a little bit like, oh damn, because let's face it, his number one contender on that fatal four-way that we're going to see, it's going to be probably Sami Zayn. It looks like it all details say it's going to be Sami versus Drew at Royal Rumble for that for the Undisputed World title. You could see that, the handwriting on the wall. Easily. So now, I think Drew McIntyre retains at the Rumble. Again, everyone says this. Sami Zayn is not a main eventer for a WrestleMania where you're charging that amount of money or tickets. No matter how important you think Sami Zayn is, how much you love him, he is not going to be. You're not closing night 1 and night 2 with Sami Zayn in the main event picture. No effing way. You're talking about people. They're not going to move tickets. Not for the main event. Now, if he's in the match in WrestleMania, of course, everybody likes to see Sami Zayn wrestle. He's not a main event guy. He's not a main event guy, top of the card that's going to draw your name. So that's why I think Drew winning, coping the title, probably it kind of looks like it's going to be probably Cody Rhodes. I don't know if he's going to win that. That's why I keep saying I'm going back to the uncertainty of Finn winning and Judgment Day helping whatever some way somehow, the return of Dirty Dom helping his guy, screw CM Punk on a Hell Vent tour, want to get and he gets his match at Elimination Chamber and he beats Finn. Now we have his Punk and whoever wins the Rumble. I see Braun winning the Rumble, like reports said. Braun wants to go and now he says I'm challenging whoever's the world heavyweight champion. Valor or Punk, whoever wins at the Chamber, you got me at Mania. So that's set up. The Chamber is going to go for someone who's going to fight for the Undisputed World title. I think you're going to have, that's where you could put heavy hitters for that. If you want to, for the Elimination Chamber, if you want to put in, guys like, Roman, if you want to put even Fatu, you want to put whoever, throw names out there and Trick Williams, because, they like to always put NXT wrestler. Obafemi, if he shows up, when he shows up in there and so forth and get all the wild moments, in that chamber and then that winner takes on Drew McIntyre for the Undisputed World Champion. You have Braun, and then if Seth Rollins returns, I still think that's going to be somehow a triple threat match. Braun, Rollins, and Punk at WrestleMania for that World Heavyweight Champion, and we might even get 2 triple threat matches, even for the Undisputed World title. I don't know. It's unpredictable, and isn't that what we want as wrestling fans? Unpredictability. But here's the thing: you got to be careful. They have to make it make sense. Not because. Right.
No, well said. It's a couple things that could happen there. I don't know, man. With Cody declaring Elimination Chamber being in Chicago and a lot of the championships are changing. And look, we could have a championship change sooner, right? With Finn, we're not even fucking counting that right now. We're not even talking about if Finn Balor could win that championship tomorrow. So again, there's Judgment Day stuff that has to be taken care of. So dominant. I mean, anything could really happen, dude, with the world title scene in WWE, which is good. It makes interesting television, gives us interesting reviews. I gotta see who wins this Rumble, man. I gotta see who wins this Rumble.
It's unpredictable, and I like it. Monday Night Raw is unpredictable. We don't know who's actually going to win. Although a lot of us people might think 75% CM Punk is going to hold this title.
Right. And SmackDown's not that unpredictable either, but we can probably know that Sami Zayn's going to win that tournament.
Yes, that's a little bit on the predictable side. But the Royal Rumble winner, no one knows who's going to win the Royal Rumble.
No one's going to know. At least not in the men. The women, you have some names that could be thrown out, like Liv, and whoever. But the men's, they mixed up the title scene a little bit, so I like it. I like it.
And that's the good part. That's a good part of it. And then we don't know. And then go into Elimination Chamber. We don't even know who's going to win the Chamber, who's going to be in the Chamber. We're going to have qualifying matches for the Chamber. So that's a great point, or where we at when it comes to the WWE creative and wrestling, because we don't know. And we continue that. And it seems that we have that trend when Obafemi walking on an NXT. Because NXT, we don't know. We found out we're going to get a ladder match, 6-man ladder match. The qualifying to be in that ladder match is starting. We've seen a lot of different Evolve wrestlers, a couple matches named, so forth. They haven't announced the whole entire participant in the bracket. Chris, do you have an idea why they want to tell us all the qualifying matches to determine the 12 matches to determine the 6 participants?
Like right now?
Yeah, they haven't told us a bracket. It's going to be the finals of that ladder match is going to be on NXT television February 3rd. But we should be having 12 qualifying matches, because you got to get 6. You need 6 winners to be in this ladder match to participate. So that's 12 matches. We haven't heard 12 participants or 12 picked wrestlers to have the honor to qualify for this ladder match. I wonder why they're not mentioning us all these 12 participants
on NXT.
On NXT.
Oh, I didn't know we jumped to NXT. Okay. Oh,
yeah, no, yeah.
Okay.
Is this on?
So I don't. That's a good question. I don't know. I know Ricky Saints, right, is going to be a part of that ladder match because he's the champion that didn't get his rematch or lost it, so he's going to be in there. But I mean,
10 matches? Or no, 11 matches then.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't think the qualifying matches aren't great. Do you? I mean, Sean Legacy and whoever the hell he's going against, Eli, or is it Eli Knight or whatever his name?
Let me pull that up.
Sean Legacy and Eli Knight, Josh Briggs, and Shiloh Hill. I mean,
those are the only 2 they announced.
Those are 4 people right there that I don't want to see win the NXT championship. So I have no idea. Is this all for Ricky Saints to fucking regain it again?
Why are we circling?
You can't put in you know what, bro? The best wrestler on that roster right now is Ethan Page, and he's the North American champion. So he's not going to win it.
And I had a problem with Ava saying Ethan Page says I need to be the world heavyweight champion, and I'm not in the ladder match. And she goes, you could be in the ladder match. Hand over your North American title. Why did you say that to Stephanie Becerra?
Right.
It's the same lady. It's the same person. It's not a different GM. It's not a different multiverse. It's the same WWE NXT.
And why is Ava okay with TNA talent keeping a TNA championship and getting one of theirs? But Ethan Page has to give you his North American championship for him to get a WWE NXT championship shot when he's the best wrestler on your roster? Holy shit, bro. No, I mean, I know why Ava's the GM, but that's awful.
Yeah. It's like, really? Is that what the best?
I wanted to get behind Ava.
Who fed that line to her?
I don't know, dude. I want I mean, I don't think. I mean, by what that was, looks like some shit she would come up with. I hope not, or I hope that's what it is. I hope somebody like a Matt Bloom or somebody didn't tell her to do, or Sean didn't tell her to do that, or that's just stupid. That's just stupid. Again, you make a great point. Why didn't you tell it to Stephanie?
It's like,
why didn't you tell it to Julia?
Look, and my point of all this, what's my point of talking about these names? Because during the announcement, you had a guy from Evolve who looks like freaking monster, looks like a baby version of Obafemi and Keanu Carver, a smaller version of him. Just look, it's a freaking powerhouse. Made an impression on the NXT roster, wiping out so many wrestlers. He should be like a favorite there. But here's where I think they also messed up and dropped the ball when it comes to the collaboration. If you had that shit show that we talked about earlier with TNA on AMC, according to the IWC, and you only had one match in an hour, they could have easily gave us 2 TNA wrestlers worthy enough to qualify for the TNA ladder match. Or maybe, you know, they could have done that tonight on Genesis and announced it on AMC for an opportunity to qualify and be in that match. Give us some wrestlers, you know. This is where it sucks losing the freaking Rascals. I'm going to say that right now. Because you could have had either Trey Miguel qualify for opportunity in that ladder match. Even we know he's not going to win the NXT title. But you would have told me Trey Miguel in that 6, and we would have still with the NXT with TNA, representing TNA in that ladder match for the TNA World Title. The spots and the moves that he would have been doing in that freaking that ladder match on CW would have been phenomenal. Or someone from AAA Mexico. You could have had you tonight, which they're going to be live as well. You could have had a NXT match for representing AAA for the NXT World Title at the ladder match, a qualifying match. You know, you could have had, you know, some, you know, Pagano, Mr. Iguana, Mr. You know, you could have had anybody from that AAA roster other than Dominic Mysterio, other than the names that we know. Or heck, even in AAA qualifying for that match, and even Santo Escobar.
Yeah, no,
He could add a AAA Battle Royal, and winner gets a shot to represent AAA in NXT for the ladder match. I
agree. And, you know, and yeah, because they had that fucking French luchador going up to fight Ethan Page.
Out of nowhere. He hasn't beaten anyone. I'm going to challenge you. Like, really? What's this?
All because he's the fucking AAA tag team champion. And that literally makes more sense for AAA wrestlers to do it. I don't know. Again, some of this,
and this is a good one here. Ethan is also AAA mixed gender champ with Chelsea.
That's exactly what I mean, Delano. He's literally he's a AAA champion, so it makes perfect sense. It makes sense why this is happening. But again, no disrespect, you couldn't make a Worlds Collide or a AAA show and have it be on there. Has to be on NXT. When the fucking the audience don't even know who this guy is. If you do a AAA show, a Collide, Worlds Collide, I mean, I don't
know. And to be fair, Stephanie did challenge Julia for the belt, and just like Keith Lee, she relinquished it. Yes, because their whole division was dead. That's why she had to relinquish it. It was dead. When her holding those titles, it was dead. It's like, where are we going to go with? That was a bad decision for them to do title for title. They just did. That was a terrible decision. That matter of fact, even when they did that should have been a stand and deliver match. That should have been a stand and deliver match for Stephanie versus Julia, first and foremost. Not a televised. And but that's their mistakes. But yeah, they could easily fix that. You want to, and again, I said this time and time, numerous times again. They should be setting the tracks, laying the bed, the foundation for next year. The reason why I say next year, WrestleMania is going to Saudi Arabia. Everybody don't like the fact that they're leaving the country for Saudi Arabia. But you still need people to be invested to watch the NXT show that usually is stand and deliver, which I said this time and time again. They should call it a freaking WrestlePalooza, right? And have NXT, AAA. You could want to bring in New Japan Noah. You want to bring Noah in if you want to. TNA, Evolve, some type of a super card where they host like WWE ran kind of a program for the evening for wrestling. You could still have your WrestleCades, you could still have your WrestleCons and all that other stuff that treat it like a WrestleMania, big type of celebration. You can make it 2 nights if you want. Some type of a cup or a champ, some type of a thing, or if you want to do something where you showcasing the partnership of WWE wrestling, not just the main roster for stand and delivery. You can still do a stand and delivery. You can do a WrestlePalooza back-to-back nights, where some type of deal where you want to also help the independent scene, because it's a void. Them going to Saudi Arabia with all the wrestling independent companies that like to do their stuff around the big shows. So they should be trying to show their strength of the collaboration through a super show. Don't counterproduct Tony Khan when he does something, and then you want to counterproduct, and then no, you have a chance to lay the foundation and lay the groundwork here. But if I don't know. I don't know what the hell they're thinking when it comes to that.
Yeah, and I'm kind of worried about even what stand and deliver is going to look like too. So even just the fact that next year that they are going there, I'm kind of curious to see how that does look. But I agree. And especially with them being in Saudi, this month for the Rumble, I think just they got to start planning ahead this year for next year more than ever.
I agree with you on that. And one thing about the NXT, where we're going to go into Maximum Carnage in a second. One thing about NXT here, Blake Monroe returns, stays. Looks like she's not going anywhere to the main roster. They need talent to stay for the Stand and Deliver card. And now she's taking on Jada Parker. Jada Parker is going to be the face of the women's NXT movement there. I don't know if that becomes a title run or not, because it kind of feels like it's Kendall Gray, going forward. But Blake Monroe staying, I'm actually surprised.
I am, but I'm not, just because of how long they kept Jordan down there. So
fair, good point.
I am, but I'm not.
Okay. But remember, for Blake Monroe, she lives in Orlando. Maybe the traveling is something that she doesn't want to do just right now.
That's it.
And maybe we with all these situations that we've seen with visas and all that information, I don't know where her immigration status is too.
She might just be here on a green card.
So she's just right now, and that's why she's working and she don't mind the NXT, where she's still getting TV exposure, money. Her contract is probably a WWE roster contract, so it may be something that's not hurting her, and that's why she works there. Well, let's see how it goes with that. And the Jordan Grace. Speaking of Jordan Grace, what a freaking match she had with Chelsea Green on Friday Night SmackDown. When she grabbed that title looked good on her, holding up for Jordan Grace. I was like, yes, but please, WWE creative or television or production, change that introduction for Jordan Grace for the love of
fucking awful, bro.
For the love of professional wrestling. Can you change that horrible introduction song? Give her the old one. When you hear the sirens, you hear the juggernaut is coming. You're like, oh, damn. Please.
I agree 100%.
I beg you. I'm a big proponent.
Dude, I will never forget the first time we heard that theme. We're like, who the fuck is
introduction theme songs are the most. When you hear that glass shatter, when you hear the first chord of they get you. When you hear the Ultimate Warrior's first rip of that, it stops you. But when you hear some of these Death Rebel themes,
dude,
all you associate is yuck.
And you never want for a wrestler to have to, like, for an audience, like if I'm sitting there, I'm like, you don't want it to have to take a second. Who's this? And then read their name. Ugh. Oh no, when you hear "Burn It Down," everyone stands up. We know what's coming, right? You gotta do something like that. When you hear that MJF, that done, everyone knows it's him. Like they need something for her to make her stand up where everyone knows it's Jordan Grace.
Sometimes I don't know if I'm getting the MFTs, I'm getting a New Day, the Street Profits,
right?
Solo Sokoa. I don't know who I'm getting.
They
all sound the same. Yeah. Fatu. I don't know who's coming out. It's like, who is this?
They need the sirens back, bro. That was her identity. Yeah, I agree. And then she tried defending it. I love this song. Blah, blah, blah. You guys don't know shit.
And she might like it too. She does. But when we, Jeff and Matt Hardy, I think Jeff doesn't like that intro with their famous Hardy Boys theme song. They're tired of it. I could get for a while, but that's a statement. When you hear the Hardys' first few chords, everyone explodes. I know they don't kind of like it. It's been said by podcasts, but still, you identify with that theme song. You need that. Theme songs are very important in wrestling. In a Paul Levesque who likes tradition and likes the classics, I'm surprised he's not doing anything with them involved. I know you can't be in everything. You delegate. That's what a good CFO, a good boss does. He delegates tasks to people underneath. That's what makes it a teamwork. But Paul, Triple H, Mr. Levesque, you got to do something about these introductions, these intros. They're not hitting. The best one that I can say is Blake Monroe's right now, because it sounds like a Sabrina Carpenter theme. Right.
It really does sound. Yeah, it does sound like a Sabrina Carpenter theme. And that's why people like it, because, it sounds like an actual song.
Mm-hmm. But all the other stuff, I mean, I don't know if he's taking it all, he's eating it all, he's licking it all. I don't know. When the New Day rocks, they all sound the same. It's just
The New
not.
Day, the New Day, the new. That
Oof.
shit is fucking garbage.
Oof.
The New Day,
Give me the gospel cheery stuff, man. That makes me, it makes me want to put a $20 bill in a collection plate. Come on, let's go. Give me that theme song, man. I mean, my goodness. Let's. You know what, Chris? I need a water break, and I definitely want to talk about our partners in Dude Wipes. So here's a quick break for a moment.
All right, quick break. Don't go anywhere. This segment is sponsored by Dude Wipes. Whether you're grinding through work, hitting the gym, or locked in for a full night of wrestling, Dude Wipes help you stay fresh. Simple as that. Portable, convenient, and designed for real life. And of course, this show is powered by the Sports Jedi Network. Independent wrestling coverage, real discussion, and a community that actually knows the product. If you rock with what we do here, support the sponsors that support the channel. Now, let's get back to the breakdown. Take it away, PGH Chris and Sports Jedi Kev.
You're watching Jedi Sports Network with Kev.
And by the way, thank you so much, Jody Threat. Appreciate you. You should be taking on Ying Ying Lee personally tonight in Genesis.
Yep.
Personally,
I agree.
Just saying, it should have, instead of Zarya, it should have been my girl, the Wild Child.
I agree.
I mean, sometimes it's not what's best for business is best. It's not the best story. So, I mean, one half of the Spitfire and where Danny Luna could be a little jealous that you took, you only got an opportunity because I wasn't around. It tells the TNA story there with the knockouts. But, I mean, but Tommy Dreamer, he's the innovator of violence, but not the innovator of storytelling.
I mean, that main event's going to be booked good because that's his fucking specialty. But, I don't know. Kev sounds like Bobby Roode. Oh, dude. Speaking of TNA legend, man, Bobby Roode is that guy. Bobby Roode was that fucking guy, bro.
Oh my God. No, wait, don't forget it. If you're gonna order Dude Wipes, use my promo code. Text DUDE save 20 to 594963. They'll send you a code for 20% on your next order. Dude Wipes in the Sports Jedi Network, wiping the competition out. Chris, it was Wednesday, and you know what that means. It's Maximum Carnage.
Sun's game was on. Oh.
Was it Maximum Carnage or Maximum Garbage? I thought it was fine. I don't think it was that terrible. I'm gonna give you my quick thoughts on it, and then I'll let you go ham on it. The Darby Allin, I call him the biggest pendejo in professional wrestling. He is the biggest. I'm gonna look at the camera straight. He's a pendejo because he should be the top of the card, the top of the food chain, the face of the company, all that good stuff. He decides that he wants to throw his back against the stairs, be thrown like a doomy doll, crash dummy doll, whatever. It's great for the oohs and ahs, but how long you're going to continue being the punching bag? You know how MMA has that doll that you kick and punch? That's Darby Allin. He's the pro wrestling dummy bag that everyone wants to hit and muñeco. Pop, pop, pop. Darby, you're better than that. You should be champion. You should be the face of the company, but you don't. You choose to be in that position. You know what? God bless you. He had that match with Pac. It was what it was. I thought I said this when it came to the main event was before the main event when you had that party match and after that match was over, that's when you should have debuted the Rascals to beat everyone up and make a statement and all four members, but you did a graphic. I couldn't give a shit about the main event because I was worrying looking at what Sean Ross Sapp, Fightful, this guy, Bob Chugaloop, the copy and paste .nets, all that stuff, what they were saying afterwards that I took me off of the main event and I didn't give the proper attention and respect that MJF as a World Heavyweight Champion deserved and earned, as well as the Diamond Ring winner in El Bandido. Your thoughts?
Well, first off, I think the best match of the night was Brody King versus John Cruz. Who? Yeah, Brody King fought a guy named John.
By the way, he's not my cousin, by the way.
Oh, anyway, Kev. Yeah, you know John? You don't know a John Cruz? But anyway,
He needed the money.
apparently he's like the Spanish-speaking MJF, is what I heard. But anyway, to the show. Let's start off with the main event because that's what you said, right? This was this is I'll start with I actually do want to start with the main event because I want to start with positivity. This was a great TV main event. I thought the match, obviously, whatever happened, it didn't take much. It could have taken your excitement away, but the match itself, I thought it was a fun match. I thought it was really good. Again, MJF is such a good wrestler. I don't know why people ever disrespected MJF as a professional wrestler because he can go with anybody. He made Bandito look like a main event guy. And I know he's kind of being booked like that, and I know he's kind of being pushed, but MJF, he's doing what he can with the shit that he's being given, and he's making Bandito look like a star. They're already doing a thing kind of, setting up Brody King to be MJF's next opponent, which I like. You're not just throwing the top guys at MJF right away. You're building up a Bandito. You're building up a Brody King. And only MJF could do something like that, which is why he needed to be the AEW World Champion. So I loved that for the main event. Again, Bandito looked like a main eventer in this promo, or excuse me, in this match. And last week in that promo, calling him whatever, he tried to make it work. And I really liked the match. Bandito's looking good. Hopefully they keep the momentum. Don't know. All right. That was enough positivity because look, the Darby Allin and Pac match, okay. It wasn't a bad match. I'm not going to say it was a bad match because those two guys are good. I like both those guys. Pac's a good mid-card heel guy, and obviously Darby's somebody that people want to see at the top. But Darby, you need to, if you're going to do those fucking bumps, it's not that I have a problem with you doing it. It's when you do it at this point, I'm not even getting a reaction. People are thinking this is stupid. It's not like, like now people are saying this is stupid. The bump, like people think the match sucks because of those bumps. When in reality, this was a good match. Up until those spots, take those spots away. This is actually a good mid-card TV match for AEW to start the show. But again, you take those bumps in a match that doesn't need it, that doesn't mean much, and it kind of, that's what people are going to be talking about. And it takes away from a match that actually was good, but we don't need those spots. It does not mean anything. It does not mean anything anymore. This is really where the negativity starts to come in. Why the fuck am I getting a 10-minute match between Adam Page and Brian Keith on Dynamite? 10 minutes? Really? Brian Keith got 10 minutes against Hangman Page on Dynamite? Seriously? But I rather would have saw Big Bill versus Hangman in a 10-minute match. But we got his little stooge instead. Hi guys.
He's a bad apple.
Oh, he fell off the fucking tree, didn't he? Kenny Omega is confronted by his old
Olivier.
nemesis. Kenny Olivier, as Cornette likes to call him, is confronted by his arch nemesis and the very, very large Don Callis family. Oh, he called him Uncle Don, talked about Ibushi's leg. Omega sent Alexander to the hospital. How many times are we going to see Don Callis and Kenny Omega kind of go at it? We understand the story. When Kenny came into AEW, he was the world champion, and that was the best. Not just AEW was, but Kenny was in the last couple of years. Obviously, health issues, whatever. But anyway, this should have happened years ago. You are 4 years too late on this fucking story. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Because this story should have happened around the time that Danielson and Omega at Grand Slam. So that was in what, 2000 was that 2021's Grand Slam? This story should have happened in 2022.
Every time they come out, they should do this, like the Jey Uso.
Right, because you're 4 years late on this on this. Like, I don't know why this is still going. Again, I just okay, whatever. We're getting that again. A tornado tag team match. Mark Davis and the formerly Jake something.
Nothing.
Jake Nothing versus Speedball, Kevin Knight, and Toa Halonga and Bishop Khan, the Gates of Agony, and which I fuck with Bishop Khan actually, and the Young Bucks. It wasn't a bad match, but again, chaotic and not in a good way. It's like I can't. What's how? Oh, Speedball's over there. Oh shit, Young Bucks are over there. Oh, Jake, no.
Super kicks.
It felt like anarchy in the arena. Like, I can't keep up with the fucking match. I can't keep up with everybody in the ring. It was chaotic. It just okay, whatever. You're gonna tell me one of these tag teams are gonna go against FTR? I'm not interested. Kev.
Yes.
Or Tekla. And Julia Hart and Sky Blue versus Chris Statlander and the Babes of Wrath, Willow Nightingale, Harley Cameron. I like finally Tekla being on fucking Dynamite. I mean, I don't watch Collision on Saturday. Saturdays are nobody. I mean, Saturdays are kind of the day, I kind of do stuff. But if I'm watching any fucking wrestling on a Saturday, it's any TNA show, right? So I'm not God. So Tekla, thank you for being on my screen because Tekla. I need her on my TV screen. But whatever. Cool match. The one thing I will say here, because I didn't think the show was terrible, but again, it's too long of a matches. Shit doesn't flow right. You got the Rascals on a thingy, which I don't. Again, we talked about this. And the only thing I'll say here before I let you go on is it gives people wanting to watch what they're going to do next week. And if any part of the show is going to be the highest part, it's going to be whatever the hell they do, because people are going to want to see what they do. So that's the only positive that came out of that. But I still don't know why they went to AEW, man.
It was fun to see Mark Davis and Jake Doyle win the tag team tornado situation, because everybody had the Bucks penciled in to win it. But then I said, this is Tony Khan pretty much pandering the flavor of the month of all the TNA research, recent hires. Oh yeah, we'll get you in. We're showcasing Big Doyle for any of the TNA wrestlers that are out there that are free agent that might be rumored or an opportunity to come in to the company. And no, I'll book them. Flavor of the month. Because we asked that. I got a milk carton today, Chris. In the back of the milk carton, I had Ace Austin. Have you seen me? In the back.
Oh my God, poor Ace Austin.
He was the big one that was supposed to sign over there. My point is, I don't see Doyle and Mark Davis beating FTR. Mm-hmm. I don't see it at all. I don't see it one bit. And then Doyle gets the push. Oh, they booked him so much better than TNA, did they? Because he's not going to win. It's just because he just came in. He's trying to make an impact. He's going to get the Josh Alexander. Remember, Josh lost his first match coming in. Where is he now? No one cares about him. Really. You hear Speedball finally gets, and Kevin Knight, because of circumstances, because reports have it that Will Hobbs is WWE bound. According to Tonight on Collision, spoiler alert, it's all over the internet already. They become trios champions with the Hangman. So was it because they earned it, or because Hobbs, and we got to give it to somebody? Let's give it to TNA guy. So TNA guys, so the TNA free agents like the Iconics, Inspirations want to come over, and Steve Macklin and the other, maybe possibly AJ Francis if he doesn't re-sign with TNA and so forth. We'll book him better, pal. Khan has a really strong, big, overused roster with only Collision is 2 hours, right? Mm-hmm. Dynamite is, let's put 2 hours, that's 4. 4 hours? I don't see. Is there other TV show that TNA NXT does? I mean, AEW? No. 4 hours.
Yeah.
4 hours of wrestling. You're going to put all those talents there. You're going to, and a Ring of Honor. Let's go another 2. So we're going to go 6 hours of television to your talent? Are you really going to play? You know, you sound 4-4 TNA 4-5 with when it comes to Jake Doyle on your roster. Are you gonna have enough television time to feature all those wrestlers? And don't forget, you have to take and separate 30 minutes on your pre-show for the Costco Boom family. Remember, you got to give. Was it the kid that rubs his chin, the double chin kid? You got to make sure he gets television.
Oh, the Rizzler, yeah,
the Twizzler. You got to make sure he gets some television time.
Oh, the Rascals. Speaking of, okay, Zachary Wentz just posted something 2 hours ago, so they're going to be on Collision tonight.
So they did debut last. Okay.
So they'll be on or
a vignette,
or they might do a vignette. So either way, they might. Yeah. So we'll see. But if you're watching Collision over Genesis, which God bless you, maybe you might want to.
They can't afford it.
Yeah, true. I mean,
that's why come watch us on Rumble. You get to see it with us.
That too. But anyway, if you're watching Collision, let me know what happens.
That's another one. And they're going to be in Orlando, Florida. My back of the yard on Wednesday. They'll be here. My neck of the woods on Wednesday. And of course, Zachary lives here in Orlando. So does I believe Carter. Wesley, formerly known as Xavier, Reed as well. I don't know if Trey Miguel lives in Florida. I'm not too sure where Miguel lives, but I know 3 out of the 4 Rascals live here in Orlando, Central Florida. So it's gonna be a nice little hot skip for them to be there. I think it's a vignette that they cut, Chris, for Collision. I don't think although they reports had it they were in Phoenix in the back when they signed their deal. So who knows for them. Let's see what happens. And now Tony Khan, the AEW, you have a nice bloated roster. Now you announced the dual contracts for Persephone as well as Máscara Dorada. For Persephone, good job for her. She would have been nice in WWE, of course, but she needs to get her name going. In AEW, it's not bad. She's going to get her TV reps. She speaks both English well, Spanish. That's a great promo. She looks the part. So that's a big win for Persephone, going forward. I think that's a nice one because one thing about the wrestlers, they're a lot of loyalty when it comes to that. And if she's loyal to CML and they're working with AEW, it kind of makes sense for her. And, she's 24. She's only 24 years old. Even if she does a 3-year contract with AEW and CMLL, she'll be still 27, 28, and she wants to go explore the WWE. You get even more of a seasoned female wrestler to go to WWE if she decides to go that way. If not, it is what it is. It's a great talent. Good for AEW to get her. Now it's up to creative to book her. My point is there's a lot of women. There's a lot of talented wrestlers. Now it's time to allow some of the wrestlers that you're not using that's bench, like the dentist, DMD, Dr. Big Breaker. You're not using her. She is very uber talented. She believed in your company. She was your first signee. You're not using her. You don't have value to her. You don't care to bring her on television, or you have a disagreement. You're not seeing eye to eye. Let the lady continue to showcase her talent. Let her go elsewhere to wrestle, please. The fans will like to see her continue her career to wrestle, no matter where it is. If it's TNA, AEW, Battle Creek, Respect the Craft, we want to see her wrestle. That's all. Don't hold them hostage. Don't hold your wrestlers hostage that are still young. Is Megan Bain still part of it? Yeah, she's still part of AEW. She's right now, I believe,
she'll be on Collision tonight.
Collision, yeah. She's with Penelope
Ford. Yep.
Penelope Ford. Yes, Penelope Ford. Built tough. Hopefully, don't fall apart like a Ford vehicle for Penelope. Yes, so give Camille her release. Let Camille go work. Even if she goes back to the NWA, so what? You don't have any value or use for her. Let her go work elsewhere. She doesn't need to be there for your company. Doesn't want to be there. You don't like her. She took the last chocolate chip cookie in catering. Release. Let them go work elsewhere. Let them go. You have a big bloated roster. You have a roster that's full of talent there that you don't even know sometimes how to utilize or don't have enough time or space for them.
Yep.
That's all I got to say, man. Got to let them go. Let them go. It's okay if they go elsewhere. It's okay to go work. It's about working elsewhere, making, maybe you might get the big WWE talent and want to come over because you treated them fair. It didn't work out. You let them go. You know, if you hold them hostage in Guantanamo Bay and you making their life impossible, good luck trying to get these big superstars in the future to come to your company because the way you're treating them. Remember, word gets around. These talents all know each other. They live probably almost in the same city at times, or they meet each other in these airports or the signings of conventions. And word gets around. If you treat them like crap, word's going to get around. If you're doing things spiteful, it's going to happen. Same thing goes with WWE. It's not just a Tony Khan thing. It's the same thing happening with WWE. If they're being spiteful, like Vince, what do you think a lot of people defective? Vince released a lot anyway, but people were leaving anyway because what Vince was doing. It just happens, Chris. It's the cycle of wrestling.
Yeah, no, it's well said. It's gonna happen. You just, you want to make sure you keep those good relationships. You never know what happens. You might gotta come back. So
no. Now, my final thing here: where the hell is the Iconics going? Why? Because they, according to reports, TNA wanted to bring them back, and they mutually kind of said, not really. They didn't really want to return. Now, here's the thing that gets me worried. All we heard, and we were told by all the talents that we interview in our channel. We've been blessed, fortunate to interview a lot of TNA talent, meeting the TNA, have a pretty professional relationship with TNA wrestling, with Anthem Sport. The locker room, mentioned on Busted Open, on our channel, everywhere, how much they love, how much they are. This is a family-oriented, strong locker room. And now it seems like everyone's free agency and everyone's leaving, taking money. If you're in a good place in life and you're good, why make the change? I understand maybe too comfortable and they want to be challenged in the they say adversity or when you're taken out of your comfort zone, you either rise to the top or you fail. Could be that the case, or is there something that we're not being there, or there's BS behind the locker room stuff?
I don't know, man. That is I definitely don't. I'm not gonna sit here and say that I don't blame. I blame you for thinking about that because I don't. The Rascals kind of leaving is kind of for me at least, it's kind of bringing me that question. That's kind of when I asked the question because those are 3 or 4 guys right there that I thought were the future. Where the Iconics going? But I have no idea. Realistically, not kidding around, I have no idea. Because I do know where they're going. But anyway, I don't see them helping another division like they can for TNA.
I just hope the Iconics don't go home.
I don't think they make
a coupon cut.
No pun intended. I don't think they make an impact anywhere else but TNA, where they go. That's why I don't understand the move.
Because NXT doesn't have a women's tag team division.
Exactly.
There isn't no titles for them.
And why do they need to be on NXT? They've been around for shit since I was like 13 and I'm 23.
Sean Spears Sean Spears. I got to throw that.
And what's he doing?
He's a producer.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. Oh, he's a producer wrestler. He's a wrestling producer. Yes.
Oh, okay, cool. I thought he was just playing fucking with this faction. Okay, cool.
I thought you were gonna say he was playing with his elbows because all you see him is rubbing his elbows.
All you see is rubbing his elbows out there with Izzy, Dame, and whoever.
Like
I thought he was just,
all he does.
Yeah, I thought he was just okay. He's a producer. That's good. That's good.
No, he's a producer because Tatum Paxley mentioned that on an interview.
Oh.
He produces some of he's one of those producers of segments and this and that with them.
Okay.
That's why I bring that reference there. But I don't know, for inspirations, I don't see them going to TNA because of the Sean Spears situation. He got out and wanted to leave, wasn't happy. And do they really sign both of them to go to TNA? I know they could use the tag teams, but I don't know. That'd be strange. They're not the first husband and wife to be in different companies. You've seen it from all different angles. We saw it from the beginning with Roderick Strong and Marina Shafir. The list is on and on. Working, Buddy Matthews and Rhea Ripley. And so forth. So it does work, but I don't know. I don't see the Iconics. I'm surprised they didn't stay with TNA, but when we were talking about earlier, but then you get a lot of repetitive, redundant situation. How far could Jessica McKay and Cassidy Lee go in TNA? It's just, they had already the iconic, the matches with inspirations. And right now, Holly Hudson and Mila and Mara Gase ain't there yet. as a tag team. There's bringing in other, establishing. They're not there for the knockouts for tag teams. I don't know. It's interesting. They're not. They chose to leave where TNA kind of wanted them. It's interesting. I wonder. Makes me wonder. Are they lowballing? Because that's one of the reasons why Zachary Wentz reports has it. There was a contract where Wentz felt that it wasn't that much of the love. They waited for the last minute where he would have resigned. They would have offered him maybe months ago, but then the money. They allow Khan to show the money, and Zachary's like, I got to take this money because let's face it, he's not getting any younger either, and the lucrative amount of contract like that isn't really coming. I don't think even TNA and WWE is going to just offer him an NXT contract. He's not going to go to the main roster for Zachary Wentz. So I don't blame them. Wesley is not going back to the WWE. He just left. So I don't see the one guy that felt like if you had True Serum, that would have probably stood with TNA or taken a short term, would have been Reed. Yeah. I think Reed would have stood with TNA because he's just bursting on the scene and he was very impressive. And also his stature. Look how tall he looks compared to the other Rascals.
Again, he feels out of place because everyone knows the Rascals as Miguel, Wentz, and Wesley.
I agree. I tend to agree. I could have seen Myron Reed go to bigger things. Heck, if he would have been a couple months, I could have seen him being NXT World Champion, possibly heading.
Dude, I could see him taking I could have seen him taking Leon's title when Leon goes out the door.
Yeah, I thought that's what they were gonna do. I thought New Year's Evil, NXT champion Leon Slater, then he loses the title to Reed at the Premiere. Reed defends his title in a triple threat at Genesis, and Leon Slater is your NXT World Champion. I thought that was the way they were going to go with, and would have been the best of the world because they're handing that nice X Division title to a guy who's really earned it in Reed. Because I thought, Myron and Leon put on a hell of a main event back in 2025 for that free league when they closed it out. So I was actually surprised. I'm actually surprised that the one out of all those three Rascals that surprised me going. First it was Reed, and then Wentz. Wentz with the history with his fiance and her ex-husband on that company. It's going to be interesting backstage situation.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
Right. So, guys, tonight we're going to be back on. We're going to say goodbye because we're going to be back in a couple hours. We're going to have dinner and all that good stuff. We're going to be back on here to do the watch along, the traditional watch along on YouTube, but you can watch it with us on Rumble app or on the Kick. You'll be able to watch if you don't have the TNA Plus Pass. Join us. We're definitely all right. Thank you so much. We want to thank everyone for joining us this afternoon on this live stream. This is Sports Jedi Network, and this is the community that runs on true fan energy. And this stream is proudly sponsored by our Dude Wipes partnership. Dude Wipes, stay fresh, stay clean, stay match ready. And we are wiping out the competition clean, and powered by Blackout Coffee. Wake up, stand up, and never back down. 100% American company that stands for God, family, and freedom. Don't forget to head to blackoutcoffee.com/Rumba. Use my code Rumba or Sports Jedi 20 and save 20% off your order and enjoy the stream. And if you enjoyed, hit the like, subscribe, and share. Join us on our Discord and keep informed with us and contact and all our social media platforms. For PGA Chris, I am BX Sports Jedi Kev. Until the next time, may the sports be with you and may your takes be strong. We're out. We'll see you más tarde, gente. Que Dios me lo bendiga a todos.
Represento las calles de mi tierra.